You try and I put a lot of heart, and then you go, oh, I'm glad you this try.
I don't we fabricate buildings, tilt ups, we would make tilt ups. We do lots of things. It seems like the trustees are taking care of this stuff. But we build schools and hospital medical centers. Not so much the hospital, they'll do like the super, we call it the superstructure. The structural steel for hospitals usually goes to American Shop or one of the big boys. But we're I think we're small, but we're considered medium size. We do a lot of fire services. Yeah, just I call those small buildings. It's that is what you did when you were before. We do that too. Okay. Yeah, we do that too. But let's try to stick with it. I am. San Bernardino something? I don't know. We do a little more. You just keep busy, and you're not going to always stop. Right? Well, I don't know. The state gives it a try. County gives it a try.
It's harder and harder.
This is 4
Wow, really?
Somebody's going to ask me. I don't because I got Tell them you're pretty good. Wore out for picking up all the trash. Not this setting, but another one. Different view. Is it gonna?
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started right now. So if you're there's a group back here. If you're waiting to fill out a public comment card, go ahead and do that. But if not, if you don't have a chair that's already in here, then you do need to go outside. There's speakers out there, and the school district has generously let us use this facility. So thank you very much. So it is 6:30, and we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. The first thing that we like to do is start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, we have a gentleman who's going to be coming up here and helping us out. This is Antonio Ramirez.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great job. Zoom. Okay, sorry about that. We're doing a roll call, and Gary Grosich is not here today. Angela McLean.
Here.
Stephanie Santoyo.
Here.
Diane Mendez is myself. Larry Burgos is not here today. And Teresa Escoto.
Here.
Very good. Thank you. And next we'd like to introduce any dignitaries in attendance. So anybody from a governmental organization. Let's see. Oh, is that Scott Olson from the Water District? And we have our sheriff here. And I believe that's it today in the school district. Thank you very much. Next, we have approval of the minutes. So we'll go one by one. And do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
You motion to approve the minutes? Okay. Does anybody second? Okay. All in favor, Angela?
Yes.
Stephanie? And you know what, you guys are welcome to go ahead and let's just leave our mics on because we won't have any background noise.
Okay.
So in favor was Angela. Stephanie?
Yes.
Diane, yes. Teresa Escoto?
Yes.
So motion passed. The minutes have been approved. Agency staff reports. Now, I believe we have one agency here that does have a staff report. We have the Sheriff's Department. So do we have he's going to speak through? If you could introduce yourself, please, and go ahead and start your presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sergeant Ruiz. I'm with the Fontana Sheriff Station. This is Deputy Rodriguez, who's a newly Bloomington deputy assigned to this area. So I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I know they have a lot of stuff to go over. We're going to do monthly stats, types of crimes we've handled for the month of September. I'll go over some cases that we've investigated. And if you guys have any questions, just get with us outside after, okay? So this printout that we bring is a 7-page printout of calls for service that the Sheriff's Fontana Station has handled for the Bloomington area. For the month of September, we have handled approximately 1,029 calls for service. So I'm not going to list every single call. I'm going to break them down and just kind of go over the more important ones, the more frequent ones that we deal with. And then I'll touch up on a couple cases that we've handled. I'll start off with the disturbance music calls. We had 40 of those. Subject checks, 35 of those. Area checks, 27. Welfare checks, 21. Transient calls, we've had approximately 16 of those. So, you know, getting back to these types of calls for service, we've had a lot of them up and down Valley, mostly around the AM, PM Valley, Cedar area, Dairy Queen. A lot of these guys we've arrested multiple times for violent crimes. And we book them in, they go to court, do their stuff, and a lot of times they're back out. We had one, what was it, yesterday with at the Dairy Queen. Subject wanted to go in there and use the restroom to shower and do narcotics and who knows what. So as soon as we get those types of calls, we get there fast because we know that there's little kids and families, and we don't want them to have to be exposed to stuff like that. We got there safely, quickly. Deputy Rodriguez got there within minutes and contacted the subject, got him out of the restroom, protected the kids, families that were there, arrested him, and he is in custody. Getting back to transient-related calls, we've had a lot of them, especially now that the little kids are going back to school. Indecent exposure, stuff like that. And these guys, they have a lot of mental problems. A lot of them do, and we get them help. Believe me, we have our own behavioral counselor lady that goes out there and talks to them. But a lot of these people we come across are very violent, so we do not want kids who come across them, especially going to school. We've arrested them, booked them on appropriate charges, and they are currently in custody, so just be aware of that. Stolen vehicles, 15 calls for service. Child Protective Services investigations, 14 of those. Domestic violence disturbances, 14. Warrant service, 13. Trespassing calls, 12 of those. We deal with a lot of them at the parks, stuff like that, and try to keep them clean. And so far, it's been working out. Pedestrian checks, 11 calls for service. Requested assistance calls from the fire department for violent subjects, approximately 13 of those. That's just page 1. Missing persons, 2. Return located persons, 2. Stalking investigations, 2. Conspiracy related crimes. So I'll briefly talk about a couple of those. We had one last week here in Bloomington. Subject reported his car stolen. Deputy Rodriguez took the initial report. The next day, he found the car. He remembered a lot of details about it. When it comes to stolen vehicles, we take that very seriously because that's somebody's means of taking their kids to school, going to work, stuff like that. We found the car, found the person that was driving it around. He got detained, and within 20 minutes, we discovered that it was an insurance fraud. So the person that reported the vehicle stolen was also contacted. He was detained, and both of them were arrested. We've had one low jack investigation. If you're not familiar with low jack, it's a vehicle theft system that a lot of cars come with. If you look at our units outside, they have a bunch of antennas out there, computers, and they are very fast, very accurately. As soon as the vehicle is reported, we enter it in our computer, and it goes out everywhere. And as soon as we start getting hits, we start getting a direction, and we do a search pattern, and we're able to locate them with the assistance of aviation as well. Sorry about that. Shootings at houses, 1. Suicides, 1. Vehicle burglaries, 4 of those. Strong arm robberies, 3. Under the influence of narcotics, 3 calls for service. Arson calls, we've investigated 2 of those. So lately we've been getting a lot of arson calls related to vehicles, especially around Pepper 7th area. Late at night, very early hours, we come across a lot of vehicles that are set on fire. So we have our own fire investigators are investigating that stuff, and we hand it over to them. Assault with weapons investigations, 2 of those. Drunk in public, 2. Elderly abuse investigations, 2. Indecent exposure calls, 2 of those. Man with a firearm calls, 2. Man with a knife call. So we had one here, probably almost a month ago, and it was while staff and students were here. There was a subject walking westbound on Slover towards Larch, headed to the school, carrying a 12-inch butcher knife on the street. As soon as people saw him, they called 911, and we swarmed this area, and we got here within minutes. He didn't make it past the corner. He was detained. Subject was high on narcotics, and he got booked in for that. So we have Deputy Dominguez, who's a school resource officer. He's not here today, but he goes over plans with the school staff, and he's very good with that. And he had done that with this school, so it worked out fine. Missing persons, 2. Possession of dangerous weapons investigations, 2. Disturbance calls, 9. Vandalism calls, 9. Assaults, 8. Unwanted subjects, 7. Suspicious circumstance calls, 6. Commercial burglary investigations, 5. Psychiatric evaluations, 5. County code related investigations, 4 of those. So we've been working with them a lot. They've been helping us a lot. We've located a lot of problem houses here in Bloomington, and they've been boarded up. We've been doing projects out on the street, and so far our partnership is working out well. fight calls 4. And that pretty much sums it up. So it's been a busy month, and we appreciate you guys. We take care of the public, especially with the kids returning to school. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about, we'll be right outside, all right? Thank you. Anything else, brother?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do any MAC members have any questions for our sheriff?
No.
No? Okay, so if
Thank
any
you.
public has any questions, they'll be right outside for you. Thank you very much. So just a reminder, we have public comment cards, and those are available in the back in both English and Spanish. So if you want to make a public comment, please make sure you fill in that information, because we will be closing out acceptance of the cards as we get through the meeting. So we just want to make sure anybody who wants to speak has that opportunity. That's very, very important. Next, we are going to go ahead and call Mr. Howard up for the Bloomington Business Park presentation.
Would you like me to speak from here?
I apologize, Mr. Howard. We are going to have another quick presentation by our water district. I apologize for that. Thank you, Scott.
Sorry, it's waving in the back. It was hard for you to see me. Greg Young, West Valley Water District. I'll make it quick because I know we have a very long night ahead of us. But West Valley Water District, like all elected districts, are redrawing their maps this year. So we're actually having a community meeting on Thursday, October 28th at the Bridge Church of the Nazarene on Bloomington Avenue. It'll be one of many community events which we'll be hosting throughout the whole district, but this will be the one specific to the Bloomington area. So I just want to encourage the MAC members and everyone who's here tonight, if you're interested in the boundaries of our different divisions within the water district, please come out on Thursday, October 28th, and would love to hear from you. So that's all I had. Thank you very much.
What time?
So, I'm sorry, 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's hard with this,
And
man.
I apologize. I called you the wrong name. I called you by your coworker. Greg, sorry about that.
It's fine.
Do any MAC members have any questions for Greg?
No.
No?
So, yeah, so
Okay.
like I said, 6 p.m., October 28th at the Bridge Church of the Nazarene.
6 p.m., October 28th.
So
Okay,
Hope to
very
see
good.
people
And,
there,
and
so.
he'll be available outside if anybody has any questions.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. And we have Tim Howard now for the Bloomington Business Park presentation.
Tim? You want to just use the mic and face the crowd? This would be great. Thank you, Adam. Yeah, I think we're good, right, Diana? You hear me? Okay. Hi, good evening. My name's Tim Howard, and I'm with Howard Industrial Partners.
Go ahead and hold it closer to you so we can hear you a
Okay.
little bit better.
Maybe if I
That's fine, yes.
Adam, are we good to take off the mask for this? We can sanitize later. Good evening, everyone. I am Tim Howard with Howard Industrial Partners, and I'm here to make a brief presentation about an upcoming business park that we plan to develop in Bloomington. Before I get started, for my Spanish-speaking people, we have a translator, Luz, and I think she's made arrangements to help. ¿Todo bien? Sí. Okay. Andamos entonces. Okay. Let me just jump into this. As background, the idea for this Bloomington-specific plan goes back over a decade. Bloomington currently relies on the county and other cities to provide services. So sewer is provided by Rialto, sheriff, county sheriff is our police force, et cetera, et cetera. The specific plan is a tool to guide the responsible development and redevelopment of an industrial business park close to the freeways. Let's stay back one. There we go. Okay. This allows Bloomington to have businesses that it will allow Bloomington to have businesses that produce revenue to support the amenities and services such as our enhanced sheriff patrol that we have now in Bloomington, code enforcement, in addition to street construction, repairs, infrastructure, storm drain, etc. The surrounding cities have adopted these plans, and they have been creating revenue and jobs for decades. And we feel like Bloomington deserves the same growth in order to control its destiny. We can go on to the next slide. So this is an agenda for this evening. This is what we plan to talk about. A brief overview of my firm, the proposed specific plan overview, the environmental impact report, or the EIR as it's commonly referred to, the project benefits, and the outreach that we have conducted over the last several years. You can go to the next slide. So who we are. Howard Industrial Partners is a real estate development firm with over 70 years of experience in Southern California. We've owned property in Bloomington since 2017 and have enjoyed becoming a member of our community here in Bloomington. We care about those who live here and want to help provide community benefits and improve the quality of life for our neighbors and its people. We can go to the next slide. This is a regional map of Bloomington and the specific plan. So here's an overview of where the industrial facility and the upzone sites that you hear discussed. The industrial is on the south side of the 10, and the upzone is on the north side. The following slide will bring us up a more specific map. So you can see we're south of Santa Ana to the primarily to the east of Laurel, where the star is there, north of Harupa. So the site is less than 1.5 miles from the freeway and has easy access to the 10 freeway via the Cedar Avenue on-ramp. Next slide. So in conjunction with the county, the Bloomington Business Park Specific Plan is a land management tool to guide responsible development by concentrating the industrial facilities along the I-10 corridor. This plan will include development of state-of-the-art e-commerce and logistics buildings. Per our state law, an upzone site must be identified to ensure no net housing loss. In fact, this project will have a net result of an increase of the housing stock in Bloomington. We can talk more about this as I proceed through the presentation. It will also create revenue to address the needs that Bloomington residents have identified most pressing, including public safety and education. Overall, the specific plan will allow Bloomington to control its own destiny by growing local jobs and revenue rather than solely relying on the county. So this is a project rendering. This is taken from plans, the actual planting plans and the architectural plans that have been developed. So there's not a whole lot of creative license there. That's what it will look like. The next slide, please. This is a map that shows the 3 buildings that we're proposing to construct. Extensive landscaping will be included to minimize any of the views or noise to the surrounding neighbors. Sound walls will be implemented, more mature and larger landscaping. We're committed to being the best neighbors we can be. So every effort is being made to create an attractive project that will enhance the community. We will also be improving streets around the project, building sidewalks, installing streetlights, landscaping, and traffic signals. So oftentimes people approach and ask about, can you give me a definition of an environmental impact report? And unless you've studied these things and read through them, they're very cumbersome. But the EIR fully analyzes dozens of categories to determine the project's potential impacts, including noise, greenhouse gas, air quality, and traffic. Ultimately, though, the EIR also recommends several mitigation measures that the project will incorporate to limit the impact on the community. Go to the next slide. So here are truck routes. I know traffic is always a concern of the neighbors, and our environmental impact report has fully analyzed the issues along with the required mitigation measures. They work with the county engineer, public works, et cetera, et cetera. Truck routes will be clearly marked and enforced. All trucks will exit through Harupa Avenue to Cedar, away from the neighbors. We will also be improving the roads around the site and adding landscaping, sidewalks, streetlights, as mentioned before. Just as a side note, for comparison purposes, industrial developments create 89% less traffic per day than a shopping center or a commercial development, and 64% less traffic than single-family home development. Go to the next. This is an overview and summary of the area improvements that we'll be making. So the direction that we gave our designer was to create a large landscape buffer that would act as an urban forest. That does two things. It helps with air quality mitigation. It helps with noise attenuation. In addition, we will build sound walls. There's over 1,200 trees ranging in species from palm trees to olive, California pepper, et cetera. In terms of sidewalks, we've listened to people extensively. There's over 2 miles of new sidewalks that will be installed through this park. Additionally, we have an obligation to pay over $1.5 million for fair share payments that go to road improvements not within our specific map area, but they're used by the county to do other improvements. So we will build the new streets, sidewalks, et cetera, at our own cost as part of the development. Then we pay mitigation fees to the county to make improvements to on-ramps, et cetera, signal lights, and on and on. So again, we've got 1.5 million in fair share payments that go to the Cedar and I-10 eastbound and westbound ramps. Locust, Santa Ana will receive a portion of that money, Cedar Avenue, Harupa Avenue, and a traffic signal at Locust and Harupa. So Harupa, as everyone knows who's familiar with our neighborhood, is one of the primary streets, and it will be expanded such that it can accommodate the traffic. In addition, Locust gets a complete remake because that's one of the primary arteries that will be traveled southbound to Harupa. I think I got something here. This is the investment that's being made not only in the project but off-site, most particularly. The specific plan represents a massive investment in Bloomington. It's north of $880 million of investment and project costs. It includes $25 million for road and sidewalk improvements that we talked about, the 2 miles of sidewalk, et cetera. It also includes a not so glamorous storm drain that will carry the storm flows past the Numbers Street and into the storm basins to the south. So those improvements, I think, are significant because it helps our neighbors to the south, and it will help to alleviate the flooding problems that they've had in the past. At the outset of the project, Colton Joint Unified receives a $2 million upfront payment. We've spoken at length with the school district and explored other ways that the project will benefit them. In over 30 years, there'll be an income stream of more than $55 million of cash flow. That helps them with their bonding capacity. So when they go out and build a school, they need to sell bonds. That will produce about an additional $20 million in bonding capacity for them. Moreover, there's $33 million for public safety over the term. That includes enhanced code enforcement. It will include additional support for our deputies that have recently been dedicated to Bloomington, so we're proud to be part of that. There's also provision in there for crossing guards that will serve Colton Joint Unified. In terms of jobs for our community, as the project gets built out, the economists are estimating 3,200 permanent local jobs. During the construction phase, all trades that include everybody who works to build streets, to carpenters, and our laborers unions, there will be over 5,400 construction jobs during build out. Currently, the estimated average wage for the new jobs is $25 an hour. That would include benefits. This is significant because it's 43% higher than the average retail wages and 60% more than the California minimum wage. If you impute all this, what you will ultimately come to realize is that if two people were to work at one of these facilities, they are outpacing the current wage in Bloomington by 25 to 30%. We can move to the next slide. We've had a lot of discussion with the county about the Upzone site. How do we develop and then also create housing stock? So several years ago, there was a law passed by the California legislature. It's referred to as State Bill 330 or SB 330. It requires that any project that involves rezoning residential uses to non-residential uses to identify an upzone site to ensure that there is no net housing loss. So all we have to do is make sure we have sufficient. Currently, the specific plan in the upzone site are zoned for 266 houses, although they don't exist, but that's what we could build if it were built out completely. The upzone plan, upzone site area allows for an additional, above that number, 214 units to be built. So that's 266 plus the 214. You get a net gain of 214 new housing units that could be built in the upzone site. The county has to approve a future application by whomever those people are who would develop it. So if you're a current property owner there now and you have one house within the upzone, you could build multiple houses, subdivide the property, et cetera, and take that on if you were. So that we believe translates to a higher property value. I want to be very, very clear. Howard Industrial Partners does not own the upzone site. It's merely a placeholder on a map, and it's been identified as the county as being able to accommodate the future growth that we all hope and foresee for Bloomington. In addition to the state requirements, Howard Industrial Partners, since making its investment in Bloomington, has continued to be part of the community in the best way we can. We've had several community meetings for those who live within the specific plan site. We know many of them by first name. Additionally, we've sent multilingual, bilingual mailers to all of the residents to solicit feedback about the project. What could we do better? What does the group want to see? How can we be the best neighbor possible? We've had one community outreach meeting on August 5th at Ayala Park that was well attended. We had a lot of good feedback on that, and we took that to heart and incorporated it into the slides that I presented previously. Let me give you this. Here's our contact information. I appreciate the MAC's time this evening and allowing me to make this brief presentation. As always, here's contact information for us, and someone from my office or myself will be back to you to answer any questions, address concerns, and move forward. So we thank you for the opportunity to present this project to the MAC this evening, and I'm available for questions to the board now if you'd like to give them to me, or you tell me how you'd like to proceed.
Yes, I was going to ask, we'll go ahead and start with our MAC members. We can, you know what, everybody will have their turn. We have quite a few public comments. So they had, can you tell me about the translation? Was there translation during our meeting? I
Yeah,
know.
so this
Be
evening,
respectful, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be respectful so we can hear everybody, please.
Yes, we're gonna give everybody their time for public comment. We have quite a few public comment that will be done. So everybody who has filled out a public comment card right here, you're gonna get opportunity to speak your voice, to let your voices be heard. And that's why we have these meetings. We have these meetings so that our community can have your voices heard. That's what we're all here for. And we're going to give everybody time to do that. But if we can't control the meeting, then we're just going to have to end it. And none of us want to do that. We want to hear what your concerns are. We want to hear what, information you have to share. And so we're going to give you that respect. So we'd like that all around to each other. Mr. Howard, we have a couple questions. Somebody on the MAC asked, was this translated in Spanish?
yes.
Okay. And how
Yes.
was that done?
Luz?
Okay, so it was translated. Those who needed to hear in Spanish, they were able to hear? Okay,
Sí, esa noche ya hemos tenido un traductor. Todo era traducido en español.
thank
Para
you. So what we're going
todos
to
que
do now,
están aquí hoy.
So the
Entonces, si tengas preguntas, habla con Luz, porque ella tiene toda la presentación.
okay, so now our presentation is over and we're going to start questions from the MAC board first, and then we are going to have public comments so everybody can speak who's given us a public comment card. So we're just going to start down here at the end. Teresa, do you have any questions for Mr. Howard?
Not at this time.
No, okay. Stephanie,
Yes,
do you have your speaker on?
do I have it on? There we go.
I can hear you.
Yes, I had a question as to,
Can you hear Stephanie? I want to make sure
I
everybody
can hear her.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
when was the EIR taken? Like around what date?
Sure. So
Back here, it's very hard to hear.
I can read. Do you want me to review the question? I'm happy to do that.
So go ahead and repeat your question, Stephanie.
Yes, I asked, when was the
EIR taken, like date-wise?
Yes.
It's just.
Okay, so the EIR is completed. It's at the state clearinghouse. It was published by the County of San Bernardino 2 weeks ago. And it's available for everyone to read and comment on via the state clearinghouse.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions, Stephanie?
That is all.
Okay, Angela.
Not at this time.
Okay, I had a couple quick questions. Okay, I'm not a developer. Don't work for land use. The first time I've heard of upzone is today. So I apologize for my, not knowing that. Can you explain exactly what is an upzone? What is an upzone? I know
Sure.
you shared
Yeah.
a little bit, but can you just make it a
Let
little
me,
more clear? to
let
the
me
people who don't
expand
know?
on what an upzone is. That's your question.
Yes, what is an upzone? Can you
Okay.
explain it a little bit more?
So several years ago, the state legislature wanted to address our continuing housing shortage. And as everybody in the room understands that housing prices have increased dramatically. The way that the state envisions solving this issue is to provide zoning for multiple housing units. So that leads us to Bloomington. When you change the land use designation on a site, no matter how it's being used for, you have to analyze the site in terms of number of residential units that could be accommodated there. And then you have to provide for an alternate site, or our catchphrase, our upzone site, that allows for the construction of additional homes. The Bloomington Business Park Plan exceeds the state requirement by almost twice. In addition to just the necessary 266 units that we would be required to replace, there's above and beyond that 214 units, because the county staff envisioned the best way possible to increase that housing stock. So they've identified the upzone site, which is north of the 10 freeway. That's consistent with their land use plan, where they envision homes being built that people will want to buy and live in. Is that a good enough explanation? I can go on for,
It helped me
I
understand.
can go on for days if you'd like.
No, that's okay. We have a lot of public comments, and we're going to make sure that everybody has their
Thank you.
chance to speak. And actually, that's what we're going to go ahead and do right now. Mr. Howard, you're welcome to go ahead and sit down, or whatever you want to do right there, because at this moment, our presentation is over, and we are going to start the public comment. So like I said, one more time, if you would like to speak, please make sure you fill out a public comment card. Everybody who has filled one out, we're going to start going down the list here. So I'll call a few names so that you can be standing in line in order at the podium. Each person gets 3 minutes. And so are we going to have it timed over there, or are we going to have someone up here with their watch here? That would be best, because everybody can easily see red light, green light. And so do we have it ready? So we're going to have one last opportunity right now to fill out a public comment card. So everybody has been given opportunity to fill out a public comment card. And, once you have it, we're just going to give it about another minute while they're setting this up to get your public comment cards in, please.
Once the yellow light comes on, you then have 30 seconds.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. So it's basically red light, green light, yellow light. So the green light is when your 3 minutes start. The yellow light is when you have 30 seconds left. And the red light, you're done. Oops, sorry about that. Red light, you're done. So we all know what red light, green light, yellow light means. So like I said, we have a lot of public comments. Everyone's going to get a chance to be heard. So once your time is done, the next person needs to go immediately into it. Each person here has their 3 minutes. That's not to be shared with anybody else. You can't extend it, but you have 3 minutes. That gives everybody opportunity because that's what we're here for. The Bloomington MAC, we're not a decision-making board whatsoever. We're volunteers that have been appointed. We come from various backgrounds. The requirement is that we live in Bloomington so that we could represent our community. We are here completely unbiased to hear what you have to say, giving you the opportunity to say your piece, just like we've done in the past, all of us. We are just community people just like you who live here, who love our community, and we want what's best for our community. And our job here is to listen to whatever your stance is so that we can make recommendations. Our voices are going to be heard just like yours. We don't make that decision, period, but we can make our recommendations to the Board of Supervisors. And our recommendations might not be the same as Angela's, but we're going to take the information you've given us and we're going to present that. So thank you so much, everybody, for filling one of these out. And Adam, once everybody fills theirs out in about another 30 seconds or so, you can go ahead and put the public comment cards away because everybody's been given that opportunity already. Okay, so yes, please, wonderful idea. Our interpreter, can you please share what I just shared if you don't mind? Yes. Yes, you know what? And typically we wouldn't just do things out of order, but I think this is very important because one of our community or a community organization has brought an interpreter, which was wonderful. Thank you very much. So she's going to share what I had just spoken, if you don't mind doing that.
Buenas tardes, solamente que se les quiere anunciar que cada persona tiene 3 minutos para hablar. Hay un semáforo al frente para indicar el tiempo que tienen para hablar. Son 3 minutos para cada quien. La luz verde indica que tienen 3 minutos, la luz amarilla que les quedan 30 segundos y la luz roja que ya se les terminó su tiempo. Is that it?
Thank you.
Y todavía hay tarjetas para hacer comentario público.
No,
Todos tienen la
there's
oportunidad.
comment cards at the back. One last opportunity. If somebody wants to speak and fill out a public comment card, come up now to the podium. Otherwise, the public comments are done. We're done accepting comment cards. We have a lot. We've given you many, many opportunities to fill out your public comment cards. So go now if you still need to fill one out. Otherwise, our public comment card acceptance is done.
Se les está dando la última oportunidad de tomar una tarjeta para comentario público. Ya que se termine esta oportunidad, ya no van a aceptar más tarjetas de comentario público porque se les ha dado suficiente oportunidad para hacerlo.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start public comment now. And the ones that I'm going to call up, if you can go ahead and stand in line. If you're unable to stand, I understand, but at least raise your hand so we know who you are. John Canipo, go ahead, go up to the front if you're able to. And Beverly Canipo. So once you see that green light, your time has started. I'm unable to see that completely, but that's why we have the red light, yellow light, green light. Thank you, sir. Go ahead. Once you see the green.
Good evening. I taught at Bloomington High School for 20 years. I've lived here for 42 years. I love this place. However, I think Bloomington does need to grow, and we need to get the revenue, as you saw in the presentation, some revenue to the schools as well as the other support systems. In my classroom, when I taught, I did an environmental section with the students. We called it a Socratic seminar. One of the comments that came up fairly often was the quality of life at home. If mom and dad have to drive to LA, Moreno Valley, San Diego, or wherever it may happen to be. So if we can create more local permanent jobs, you're going to get a little better quality of life at home because you're not all stressed out. Getting up early in the morning, driving to wherever it is, through all that traffic, driving yourself on back, being tired. Some of the kids told me they never saw their father except on the weekends, and he was cranky. So that's one of the positives that I would see coming out of here that has nothing to do with finances as such, but it does affect our quality of life, which I think is important for our students and their education. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Beverly.
My name is Beverly Canipo, and I've lived, John's my husband, and we lived 42 years. The first 2 months we lived here, I was afraid of the area. I taught in Fontana for 35 years. And one night, there's no lights out there. So I always sent John out. So one night he came in. I go, what happened? He says, there's been a car accident. And he came in, he says, it's one of my kids. He drove over the big bump in the onto our lot. We bought our lot, an acre and a third, right in that blue section, back from the road, and we never put a wall because they said it was a farming area. So you wouldn't think you need a farming area. So this is John, and then he was out riding his bike, and he got hit by a car. He went up over the hood and down on the street, and the fire department and the police department came and knocked at the door and said, your husband's been hit. And I go, oh my God. And I was just terrified to go out there because he was laying. And our neighbor, the old Frank, was saying he wouldn't talk to the Mexican guy that hit him. And his bike got hit, got around the bike. And for a month, John raised his head from the bed going, what do you want? What do you want? And then the teenager got hit by a car out there. She was screaming, yelling in pain. And then a burglar burglarized the nursery and came running down our street. And they had the police out there with the helicopter and everything. And then last week, the FBI was out there with a manhunt. So we've had really a bad incident, and there's no bicycles. I know my house is beautiful, but it can't be as beautiful as that park. So I think, and we're going to sell our house, but the outcome is, we're going to be even. But you're going to make out by getting money to help Bloomington. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and share a comment that we received via email. We received one via email, just so you guys know. It's just a reminder. You're welcome to send something via email, and we'll read it into the record. After I'm done with this, Claudia Enriquez, Thomas Ruiz, and Jose Rodillo, if you can come up to the podium right after I'm done. So you want to go ahead and start my time, please? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry.
Say their names when we get up there.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and start my time. This is an email we received from Laura Garcia. To whom it may concern, I am Laura Garcia. My family and I fully support the Bloomington Business Park project. Here are some positive points that will benefit Bloomington. One, I have lived in Bloomington for 16 years. It has always been dirty, no sidewalks, no proper street lights, and it just has never felt like a safe community. I would never walk my dog alone because it just did not feel safe. With this project, we would have sidewalks, street lights, and it would help pay for a dedicated sheriff to help protect the community. The community would be a lot safer and cleaner. Two, this project would bring new jobs to the community. This will create demand for new residential development in Bloomington. Also, there will be less traffic. Slover Avenue, Cedar Avenue have a lot of traffic because people commute to work in different cities. If there are jobs closer to home, there will be less traffic all around Bloomington and Fontana. This project would also give a traffic signal on Locust Avenue, which would also help with traffic. Three, the project would also provide us with sewer and storm drain systems. Part of Bloomington gets severely flooded during the rain season. This will help with flooding and maintaining Bloomington clean. Four, this project would also pay $1.5 million to the school district in fees. Number five, this project would also make contributions to the Bloomington community, including parks, in parentheses, Kessler Park, and the Bloomington Little League. Kessler Park has never been a safe park. In my 16 years of living in Bloomington, I went to Kessler Park about 2 times. The amount of drugs, alcohol, and violence at the park make it a not so welcoming area to hang out in. There have been killings and assaults at the park. This project would make the park a lot safer. 6, this project would not make streets unsafe for the community. All truck traffic will be limited to Harupa and Cedar Avenue. No truck will pass by any schools. 7, no property owners will be displaced. Property owners will benefit from this project as well. Their homes will be paid and they will have a place to live. Property owners are not being forced to sell their home or move out. These are the most important points we have thought about. We hope this project can be approved and we hope it will make Bloomington the town our families deserve. Thank you. And this was Laura Garcia, sent via email to the Board of Supervisors, 5th District. Next person that I called in line is Claudia Enriquez. And when you come up to the podium, if you could please state your name. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Claudia Enriquez. I'm here to go against the Bloomington Business Park Proposition project you guys are trying to pass. We don't need more warehouses in this area, to be quite frank. Fontana, Colton, Bloomington, Rialto is full of them. They don't bring good jobs. I don't know where people think this. I personally work in a warehouse. I don't like working there, but yes, that's the only jobs there are here, unfortunately. These jobs do not provide long-term careers. Most of the jobs out here in the warehouses are seasonal, being October, November, December during Christmas, and then everybody gets laid off after that. It's not a good place to work. I don't recommend it. However, if you guys need seasonal jobs, we are hiring. So there you go. Schools, there's 3 schools within half a mile of this project. Now, this is going to increase air pollution for these children. Do you expect somebody to go outside and play football and there's a semi truck blowing their nasty smoke out? There's an elementary school, high school, and a middle school. Just throwing that out. Water, it takes about 0.6 gallons of water per 60 pounds of cement. For 100,000 square feet, that's going to take about 22,000 gallons of water. This is obviously way larger than 100,000 square feet slab, and that doesn't include the walls that are also built by concrete, and it doesn't include the cement used for the parking lots and the sidewalks. Not that I'm against sidewalks. You guys want to move or reduce the allure of the spacious living that's currently in Bloomington. My grandma's house is in Bloomington. It's a family home that's been handed down for generations, and I would hate for that eventually to be gone because projects like this keep popping up in the area. Rialto trash, that's what's being used currently. This is going to output a lot of trash. Again, like I said, I've worked in warehouses, and it's nonstop plastic and cardboard and more trash being output. I don't see this project helping in that area. With that being said, the EIR, I do have concerns about that as well. I want to make sure that that includes the surrounding cities, Fontana, Rialto, Colton, etc., because again, there has been a lot of projects popping up. And the plants that are being planted, no matter how many plants we plant, it's never going to reduce the carbon footprint that this project is going to put out over the years. And if you can breathe, if you can hold your breath while you count your money, then maybe go ahead. And I don't know what else to say other than this is a terrible idea for Bloomington. Thank you.
Thomas Ruiz. And please be ready to go next because we have a lot of public comments. Everyone's going to get their chance to be heard. So please be ready. We have Thomas Ruiz, Jose Radillo, and Carrie Kalinick, one right after the other, please. So just be ready.
Ready? My name is Thomas Ruiz. I'm a representative of the Laborers International Union of North America here in San Bernardino County. We represent over 1,500 men and women in the construction industry. Laura pretty much summed up pretty much everything I was going to say. We've been a part of a lot of warehouse developments throughout the county, and it has created good paying construction jobs and infrastructure. You drive around Bloomington, you have no sidewalks, you don't have no sewers. right? We need road improvements there. I mean, we just came back, just driving down Slover and driving down Cedar. I mean, those are streets that need improvements. The county does not have the funds to improve it. That's why it hasn't been improved. We've gone to the Board of Supervisors many times on various projects, not only warehouse development, on solar development, on other types of development. We're never going to make everyone happy. There's always going to be people opposed to it. Doesn't mean that they're wrong. Doesn't mean they're right. Doesn't mean we're wrong. Doesn't mean, but we have different views. And at the end of the day, what we want to see as our labor organization is good quality construction jobs for our members. Good quality jobs that are going to be able to put food on the table for families here in Bloomington. And we have members here tonight in support. We have members inside and outside of the building. And out of respect for your time, because we knew it was going to be a long night, we're not going to have everyone speak. But these are jobs that, like our brother that spoke from the teacher as a teacher, he's absolutely correct. The quality of life is improved when you don't have to travel to LA County or Orange County to find work. And I say it again because I do say things multiple times, but because I believe that is our job and our opportunity to build jobs here locally for our members so that they can improve their lives, that they can spend more time with their family and be able to join more community groups and more community events by going to soccer games or coaching or whatever they want to do with their family instead of being on the road, instead of being on the freeway. That creates more pollution. With that, I'll leave it at that. I thank you for your time and have a good evening.
Thank you. Jose Rodillo.
Good evening. My name is Jose Rodillo. I am a union member of La Yuna.
If you could speak a little louder so we can hear you, sir.
All right. Good evening. My name is Jose Rodillo. I am a union member of La Yuna, Local 783. As such, I am here in support of this project. Passing the project will help contribute to the growth of the local economy, as well as provide much needed well-paying jobs and skilled laborers. Projects such as this, which support union jobs, are also supporting a healthy family lifestyle and positive future. I implore you to support our future and vote to support this project. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Carrie Kalinick. Carrie Kalinick, Anna Carlos, and Grace Gardner.
Hi, I'm Carrie Kalinich. I have grown up here in the Inland Empire all my life, and my family is from here generations within the Inland Empire. SCAG has forecasted, SCAG is Southern California Association of Governments, that most of the warehouse industry is going to be built here in the Inland Empire. And what we value here is a small rural town atmosphere. And I don't think that it's anything going backwards in regards to trying to conserve that. I think that we can push forward and go into a more greener future in regards to finding other ways to find sustainability for our communities without the warehouses here. So everyone's talking about the sidewalks and such. Well, I think that there's other ways to get those sidewalks besides just selling out our land, our resources to these developers for warehouses, because eventually also they're going to be going towards being more electrified, going more with robots and that. So I believe that we should be looking to the future more greener, and I hope that we can fight these warehouses. I really do believe that the future is more rural than more warehouses. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna Carlos, Grace Gardner, then Caitlin Town.
Hello, my name is, Hello, my name is Anna Carlos, and I'm actually a teacher in Fontana, so I work very close to Bloomington. But let me tell you about the quality of life for me and my children. My children raise chickens, we farm, we do organic farming, we have horses, so my children ride horses. We milk our goats, we provide our own ice cream during the summer. That's the quality of life for me and my children right now. Bloomington, to me, I've been living here for 11 years. Bloomington is beautiful. It's a very unique town, and we should really value that. And last 2 weekends ago, I actually attended a community event at the church, at our local church. And I just volunteered some time, me and some other people, and we spoke to residents. Hey, have you heard about the Bloomington Business Park? 99% of the responses I got were, what? We don't want any more warehouses. No, we haven't heard about this, and we don't want this in our town. One person said, oh, ma'am, I'm not going to take a flyer because, money talks, and I've been living here and I've seen it, and it's very corrupt here. One person, everyone else said they didn't want warehouses. This is not responsible development. And we're not talking about an empty field on the side of town. We're talking about taking over 200 homes. These are families. Our most personal thing that you can do is touch our home or touch our family. This is the most disrespectful thing to come. And I'm sorry, I know that there are some people in favor here. And I know that that's the union and anyone who's selling. Anyone who's selling and the union are here and they're in favor. But talk to the residents. I volunteered Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the community said they don't want this. What's gonna happen to one of my neighbors in the blue that doesn't want to sell? Are you gonna build around them? Are you gonna have them boxed into a warehouse? This is gonna destroy families. Bloomington is not for sale. Bloomington no se vende.
Thank you. Grace Gardner and Caitlin Town. After Grace Gardner, Caitlin Town can be ready to go up next, please.
Good afternoon. I'm also here to speak out against Bloomington Business Park. I've been here a few times, so I'll keep it a little bit short. I'm an educator at Ruth O. Harris Middle School. This is about a mile from where this park will be built. I actually attended the school as a student. So this community is very near and dear to my heart. I care very deeply about this community and my students. So it's very concerning to me that among all the warehouses there already are, where I see my students walking past every single day, there's going to be another huge warehouse coming out. So I'm just here to speak my word. I'm here to represent my school. Our enrollment is already down thanks to the pandemic, and this is only going to make it worse. So I'm completely opposed to this plan. Thank you so much for hearing me out, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Caitlin Town. And then Ben V is right after. Ben V and then Irma Hansel.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Caitlin Town, and as you can see, Bloomington is not for sale. Bloomington no se vende. I also attended Ruth O. Harris Middle School. I attended Bloomington High School. I swam for the Bloomington Barracudas before this pollution has taken over our students and our children's lungs. I care about this community, and I have spent countless hours talking to community members and trying to spread the truth, because let me tell you something about the Howard industrial businesses and this business park. They are spreading lies again and again and again. Let's just talk a little bit about the lies in front of you right now. There are no parks and there are no schools listed on these maps because they don't want you to know how close to our community these are being poisoning our community and how close they will be to our children. I am a teacher and I teach at Joe Baca Middle School. Our supervisor is Joe Baca Jr., and I have asked him many times to oppose this publicly, because I give him free advertising every time I wear his shirt, and I love my school, so I do it proudly because I love my students, and my students deserve better than this. And let's talk a little bit more about the lies that this man over here, who is putting his head down and texting instead of listening to the community, that he has lied to us. He has lied. Last time he was supposed to be here, he told the community to go to Colton. He told the community to drive 5 exits on the freeway to Colton. And he's sitting over there and having someone talk in his ear about what he should be doing politically so that he can keep saying our community when he doesn't give a damn about this community. When all he cares about is his bottom line. He doesn't give a damn about my students. If he came in and walked into my classroom and told them what they were doing, my students would not be okay. Because that is their lives. That is their future. And you know what the future of his warehouses are going to be? The future of his warehouses are going to be automation. And union people that are here, he's going to automate you out of work. And you know what, MAC members? If you're falling for these lies, then you're just as bad as he is. So I would really ask you to be on the side of the community, to be on the side of future of our children. Kessler Park is very important to a lot of the MAC members because of the Little League. Who is going to be in the Little League with these warehouses less than a mile from them? Who? Children with asthma? How is this going to be acceptable for the future of our children? And I said it at the last meeting, and I'll say it again. Tim Howard, how do you sleep at night?
Thank you, Katie. We have Ben V, then Irma Hansel, and Joseph Posada.
Haku, everybody. Haku, hello. I'm Ben. I'm from Fontana, and I speak frequently at the city council meetings. I'm a very stern opponent against these buildings in my community, and Bloomington is a part of my community. These streets I've grown up on. I have loved ones in this town, you know, that have very cherished memories in very specific areas of Bloomington. This dirt, this land, you know, we cannot just let these people come in here showing us shiny bull whatever and saying everything's going to be better in 30 years. 30 years. Well, you're going to give $33 million over 30 years for the hospitals. It's $1 million a year. What's $1 million going to do? You're going to give $1 million a year for street issues. What's $1 million going to do? Are you going to widen Cedar completely? Cedar is crap right now. You try to go at Cedar anytime between 2:30 and 7 o'clock any day, even a Sunday, and you're stuck on the freeway in traffic. And this is going to be worse. It's going to be worse. It doesn't matter. That's why we have to stop this now. Look at this. One warehouse in Fontana being built, that was built, that is not occupied because they don't have an occupant yet. 170 trucks a day per 24-hour period. 170 times 7 days in a week is 1,190 a week trucks for one warehouse. There's 52 weeks in a year. That's 61,880 for that one warehouse. There are 63 in Fontana. That's over 3 million trucks a year just for Fontana. You let these people expand into Bloomington, those numbers are going to be expedited. We let this happen in in Rialto. We let this happen in Jurupa Valley. This is going to get worse. Our noses will bleed and our lungs will be gray. The only people here to profit are homeowners who are selling, people who are getting paid to be here. We are not being paid to be here. This is our home. This is our life. We cannot give up to some shitty looking warehouse. We don't want, the community obviously does not want this. We are not being paid to be here. We are here of our own volition. This community does not want a warehouse. I do not want a warehouse, and I will be here every chance I get to make sure that it is known we do not want a warehouse.
Thank you, Ben. We have Irma Hansel, Joseph Quesada, then Nancy Hernandez.
Well, I certainly didn't expect to be here amongst so much disagreements, but here we go. I'm in approval of the project because it is a project that's going to bring good paying jobs so that people can aspire to be homeowners, that they would love to put their children through college. And so I just believe that this project is going to do that. It's going to provide a better, Bloomington needs a facelift. Every time I turn around, there's a homeless person urinating on the streets. There is a person that is lying in the street doing mechanic work. I don't know of what, because he has right on the corner on the side of the shoulder. Every corner, they're cooking chickens along the sides of goats. I mean, that has to be so unsanitary. I witnessed, we're talking about Locust and Santa Ana. We're talking about Locust and Rose. We're talking about Locust and Slover. I saw a man sitting in his car while his 6-year-old is peddling flowers. There should be protection for these kids. There's a better quality of life if we have good paying jobs. This is a gorgeous building. It's a gorgeous plan. I believe that it's going to bring so much value to the community.
It's Irma's time right now. Everyone else needs to be silent. Everyone will get their chance. I apologize, Irma.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm not a public speaker, but I'm trying to make a point here. My father came to Bloomington almost 40 years ago. He bought a piece of land. He built a custom home, a beautiful custom home. He raised his family to be hardworking, United States Marines, law officer. He worked in the nursing industry, business owners. He's got great grandchildren that are graduating college right now with degrees. And so this is the opportunity that people have when they have ownership. They don't have ownership. The town, if this project doesn't go through, you won't even recognize Bloomington in another couple of years. It is just, you got helicopters that are going all around the area. These people are not being stopped by, because they ran a red light. It's a scary situation. We need more officers on the ground. We really do. These masks are going to cause more respiratory problems than they're worth. So people that are saying that these kids, no, that's not true. They are going to have a quality of life that a good paying parent will provide for them, a good education. They're going to have good clothes. They're going to have opportunity to do sports. And this building is not going to cause that to fail. In fact, it's going to boom it. It's going to give everybody an opportunity to live a good quality life.
Time's up. Thank you. So in just a second, the next people we have is Joseph Quesada, Nancy Hernandez, and Elisa Garcia. Now, everybody, like I've shown you several times, we have a lot of comment cards here, public comment cards. Absolutely everybody who's filled out a public comment card is going to get an opportunity to speak. We want to hear what you have to say, regardless of the position. That's what we're here for. We're volunteers who are here to listen to what you have to say, but we can't hear you if others are making noises and sounds during it, regardless of your position. Everybody wants to hear what everybody else has to say. That's why we're here. We're here for everyone's voice to be heard in an appropriate manner. So thank you so much for respecting that. We appreciate every single one of you who are here, regardless of which signs you're holding up. We appreciate that you're here. We're glad you're here. Thank you very much. Next, we have Joseph Quesada.
Hi, my name is Joseph Quesada. I'm a member from Laborers Local 783. I'm the second generation of my laborers. I'm telling you a little about my life story. I'm a miracle child. Why? Because my dad was a hardworking man, had the insurance. I had an aneurysm when I was 11 years old. 11 years old, an aneurysm, where the doctor told me I was going to die on the table. Look at here I'm at now. Because of the laborers gave him the benefits to, wages for my dad to keep me alive. They give good paying jobs to the members to, be close to home. insurances, the skills, we have apprenticeship programs that members, here in the local in the town could, come and train. We could put them out to work, Also, too, the warehouse jobs, not everybody's for the construction field, Maybe they don't have the funds to go to college. Well, the warehouse jobs, they have programs, too, that also, too, that will work and they'll pay for their for the college, while they're still at work. And they could go out and find a better job. So this is a start for people that are that don't have that kind of money. Dad, mom, and pops don't have that kind of money, but they could go out and get a better job for themselves. So I approve this. I want to say to pass this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Next, we have Nancy Hernandez, then Alicia Garcia, then Ivan Castro. Nancy Hernandez.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Nancy Hernández y vivo aquí en Bloomington.
Good evening, my name is Nancy Hernandez and I live here in Bloomington.
Yo miro ahí un edificio hermoso, pero no veo todos los camiones que contaminan ahí.
I see a beautiful building pictured here, but I don't see all the big rigs that are going to contaminate my community.
Dicen que van a poner banquetas. Yo quiero saber si van a poner banquetas solamente afuera de su edificio que les corresponde a ellos o si todo Bloomington, por todos lados donde pasan sus camiones.
I want to know if you talk about sidewalks, are you going to put sidewalks only around this business district, this project, or all around the area of Bloomington? Because we need sidewalks over there too.
No hay calles para que pasen camiones. El puente de Riverside no fue construido para soportar todo el peso de los camiones. En Florida ya vimos que se cayó un puente. ¿Qué esperamos? No tenemos calles.
There was a bridge built, the Riverside Avenue Bridge was built, and it doesn't have the capacity or doesn't sustain the big rigs. What are we waiting for? Are we waiting for a catastrophe to happen, something similar to what happened in Florida?
Otra cosa, yo siento que es un racismo que tienen contra la comunidad de Bloomington. ¿Por qué? Les voy a decir por qué. Porque no se van a construir a lugares ricos. Se vienen a construir a estos lugares donde quieren abusar de nosotros.
I think what this project is doing is it's a racist act against the community of Bloomington, because look at where you're building. You're building in a poor area. These developers come to poor areas like Bloomington to build here for that same reason, not near the rich folks.
Nos quieren tratar como animales quitándonos nuestro hábitat. Así me siento yo, que me quieren quitar mi hábitat, quieren quitar donde yo vivo para poner porquerías, la verdad.
You're basically trying to push me out. You're pushing me out so that you get rid of my habitat, my place of living, right? To put, honestly, trash in our community.
Solo quiero que sepan que aquí hay gente buena, trabajadora y honesta. Eso es todo.
I just want to let you know that there's people here who are honest, who are responsible people living here in Bloomington. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have Alicia Garcia, then Ivan Castro, then Cruz Baca.
Good afternoon. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak. I'm just here for one reason, and it's simple. I don't want another warehouse in my community. It's ridiculous enough to have a warehouse in front of an elementary school and in a high school. We don't need another one in front of a middle school. Whether it's your intention or not, it's a symbolic representation of your thoughts on our community. If your recommendation for this project is positive, then instead of doing your position or exacting your role or using your role as a voice in our community, it looks like you're representing special and private interests that bring no real benefit to us. A great way to measure your success in your role as representatives is to ask yourselves, is what I'm doing today creating a better environment for my constituents? Is the project I'm approving a better project for my neighborhood? If the answer is no to any of these questions, then you're failing and need to reconsider the reason why you're in public service. It is your role to represent the needs and wants of your constituents and not a warehouse developer. I find it extremely oxymoronic
that this project is being called a business park. For years, we have been clamoring and asking for a park or a community center, and instead we are rewarding with towering gray walls that shadow our own backyards and schools. It's ridiculous to allocate $1.5 million for improvements to Ayala Park in Bloomington, and it's going to be a park that no one's going to get to enjoy because of these same parks. We're being kicked out of our own homes. And I keep hearing community benefits. Based on the presentation, you say that the truck route will be limited to Jurupa and Cedar, when I myself have witnessed students walking to school on Santana Avenue getting just thrown on them by these semi-trucks. It's ridiculous. It seems as though the developers lack the common sense to know that trucking facilities and warehouses are not compatible with residential areas and schools. There are not enough streets or bridges to withstand the increasing amount of traffic created by them. The infrastructure that we have is nowhere near suitable for the influx of traffic that will be added by this project. Simply put, if this project is approved, it will be only another example of the racist and elitist warehouse projects forced on the Bloomington community. This project assumes that the only thing a person in Bloomington can aspire to is a warehouse job. And these so-called benefits, streets, sidewalks, these are things that our county should be providing us, and that's baseline. That we shouldn't be relying on warehouses to give us a stoplight. It's ridiculous. So please vote against this. Don't recommend this project. We don't want it.
Thank you. We have Ivan Castro, Cruz Baca, then Carolina Rios.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Iván Castro y vivo en Bloomington desde hace ya varios años, mi familia y yo.
Good evening. My name is Ivan Castro, and I've lived here in Bloomington with my family for a couple of years now.
Y una de las razones importantes, y creo la más importante de que decidimos venirnos a vivir aquí, fue la tranquilidad que aquí había.
And the reason why we decided to move to Bloomington was because of the tranquility, in reality, the tranquility that we knew was available here in Bloomington.
Y desde hace un tiempo que hemos notado que se han estado construyendo bodegas y más bodegas, y miro que se está construyendo más bodegas y lo ponen bonito con arbolitos, todo está bien, pero nada más es ahí.
And I've been seeing that time and time again, you're building warehouses and more warehouses. And yeah, it's pictured pretty here, but only pretty in that area of the warehouse.
Pero el Señor no viene aquí a la hora pico cuando yo tengo que salir a comprar al súper, o mi esposa o mi hijo de la escuela. Él no agarra el tráfico que nosotros agarramos.
But the developer who's sitting here today is not here when it's peak time, the peak hours of when we're trying to cross over to the supermarket with my family with my family to see all the traffic that accumulates.
Y si los camiones no vuelan, yo no sé cómo le vamos a hacer para salir y entrar a Bloomington una vez que se construya eso.
And if the big rigs are not set to fly, then I don't know how we're going to come in and out of Bloomington if that gets constructed.
Por eso yo no estoy de acuerdo que se construyan más bodegas. Es todo. Gracias.
And that's why I'm against building any more warehouses. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Cruz Baca, then Carolina Rios, and then blank. Can you read this? I'm sorry. Ramos. Okay, we'll figure it out in just a minute. Let's go ahead and go with Cruz Baca, please.
Good evening. My name is Cruz Baca, and I live here in Bloomington, and I'm against the building of this construction. I am on the corner of Stallion Lane and Linden, and there are many things that Mr. Howard said that sorry, but I have to dispute that. First of all, there are buildings already across the street from us on Linden, huge buildings that are between Cedar and Linden, between Santa Ana and Jurupa. And they promised us that there would be no trucks coming and going, that it was only going to be through Cedar or through Jurupa. However, in the time from the construction to the time that they're now rented and being used, the trucks go up and down that street 24/7. They work all the time. The noise is unbelievable. We had Supervisor Baca at my home to show him what was going on. He looked at it, said he was going to review it. Nothing has been done. There's pounding, there's loading, whatever they're doing. I'm directly across the street from those buildings. And a lot of people might say, well, go ahead and agree to this building because that way you can move out and not be complaining all the time. That's not the point. The point is that this is my home. This is my home. This is the third time that I'm going to be displaced, twice in Los Angeles County and now here. I came to Bloomington to retire 3 years ago and to live a peaceful life in a rancho atmosphere that I had always wanted to do instead of the congestion and the density of living in Los Angeles. So now I'm being pushed out again. I really do believe that this has to do with low-income areas and a developer coming in and taking advantage by offering you a ton of money like the carpetbaggers and saying, okay, I'll sell and I'll just go wherever. But that's not the point. Yes, we can go. But do we really want to go wherever we want when we're living comfortably in a home that we've already established as our home? So, and as far as some of the traffic, I am a former council member. I was the voice for my residents as much as I could be. You are our voice. There are lots of grants. The gas tax pays a ton of money that we pay into for fixing our streets, our sidewalks, and our thoroughfares. So please speak to your supervisors so that we can have those improvements without relying on a developer. And also, I would very likely like to see the contract because a lot of these contracts, they will not be paying taxes for 5, 10, or 20 years until they recoup their money. Please look at the contract and make sure that the city of Bloomington or the county of Los Angeles isn't going to be screwed out. I mean, the county of San Bernardino isn't going to be screwed out of that tax. So for all the people that want to stay, that don't like Bloomington because of the homeless, well, wake up, because even in Pasadena and Beverly Hills, there's homeless. And you have every ability.
Thank you very much.
Every ability
Time.
to move if you don't
We
like
have
it.
Carolina Rios next. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carolina Rios. I live in Bloomington. I have for 11 years now. When I purchased my home, I was looking to raise my family. I was a single mom with 2 kids. I needed a place to raise them. A year after I moved in, I had my daughter's quinceañera in our yard. And a few years after that, I actually got married on that same yard. I love my property. I love Bloomington. I love the community. Unfortunately, the last few months have been terrible. My kids can't go outside and play on the swings. We can't even barbecue in our backyard because we're being attacked by the mosquitoes. There's so much flooding, and now it rained on Monday, and now there's more flooding. There'll be rain on Friday. We'll have more. There's so many lizards and snakes and spiders all over my property because they have the water source from the stagnant water that's only creating bacteria. All these mosquitoes are there. If I go into my car, we all have to run in and close the doors quickly. Otherwise, we end up swatting mosquitoes in our car. I wear my face mask as I drive because I don't want to have a little snack on the way of these mosquitoes that are in my car. And if this project is approved, we're going to have that flooding problem gone. We're going to have the sidewalks and the sewers that we need that Bloomington cannot afford because Bloomington is not a city. We're unincorporated. And I keep hearing people saying that Bloomington can afford it, but we don't have the money. That would mean us as the homeowners would have to pay for it. And I can barely afford to pay my current bills and my gasoline because I have to commute over 100 miles a day. I commute with 2 carpool buddies to try to not pollute the community as much. But if there was more jobs available in our community, then I can work here. My 2 older kids work in warehouses. My daughter has not been working seasonally. She's been working for over a year. She's just filling out her health insurance benefits because next year she will no longer be covered under my insurance. So this is offering her her health insurance, her income, so she's not on government aid to raise her daughter. Before she started driving, she couldn't even push the stroller to drop off my kids because I'm gone from when it's dark in the morning at 4:30 in the morning till get home really late at night. So she was in charge of taking my younger ones to school, and she couldn't push the stroller through the sand. So she's pushing the stroller with her kid on the streets in danger of being ran over. This is not a way to live. This community development is going to add so many benefits to the community and increase the property values of those of us who stay. I am selling, but there are people that are going to stay and they're going to benefit from this project as their property values increase. Thank you.
We have Angel Esparza, and then I apologize, if you can help me with his name, it looks like, what'd you say? E-
Apolifio Ramos?
Oh, very good. Apologize for that. So we'll have Angel, then Mr. Ramos. Angel Esparza?
Good evening. Good evening, members of the council. Appreciate your time out here tonight. I know there's a lot of public comment, so I appreciate your time and everybody's patience. My name's Angel Esparza. I'm a representative from the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters. I've been a member from the Carpenters Union for over 22 years now, and I'm a product of a apprenticeship program from the streets to the apprenticeship program, and I represent over 5,000 members within San Bernardino County and about 500 members within the vicinity of this project. Over the 22 years, I've been able to, I've actually worked on things like this, right? Projects like this that taught me how to build something with my hands, taught me how to use a measuring tape, how to swing a hammer, right? But it also, 22 years later, I could take my child, breaking a cycle, but take my child past something and say, hey, mijo, I built that. Hey, mijo, I built this. And guess what? Their children, my family reflects the residents that live within the Bloomington area. I have family who lives there. At the end of the day, jobs like this, projects like this do support families. I understand the impact that it may have on some, but believe me, when you have the carpenters, union laborers, iron workers, cement masons, plumbers, electricians, all going through a state apprenticeship program to build something like this, you are bringing money back into the community, stimulating this economy, and it's a win-win situation for all. All right? So again, I'm here on behalf of the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters to support Agenda Item 6. The developer has made a solid commitment to ensure that this project will support our local community members and local construction workers with an opportunity of employment to not only build this project, but also to create good paying jobs for the local community after the construction. I'm in full support of the project. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. We have Mr. Ramos next. After Mr. Ramos is Delshawn McClellan, Alma Schwartz, then Adrian Gutierrez, please.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Hipólito Ramos. I've been living here in Bloomington since 2001. Since we moved here to this community, we just noticed that we need more improvements on our community, and everybody knows that Bloomington needs to improve. Again, everything has been said. The streets needs to be in better conditions. Lights, stop signs, everything. I just want everybody to know that improvement is coming. If this company is not able to do it, another company is going to be coming here to do it, no matter what. So everybody talk about pollution, trucks. You know, and I know California, it's very restricted in trucks. I was a truck driver for almost 30 years. And the conditions of a truck driver has to be real restricted to our driving conditions. Nowadays, electric trucks are coming in, no pollution. So that's where we're heading to. This community, my community, needs a better improvement on everything. It's going to be better jobs, insurance for everybody, a new home for everybody that they wanted to be a better citizen on our community. And this is reality, people.
I apologize, Mr. Ramos. We need to
Okay.
hold for just a moment. We need to have everybody's voices heard, and we appreciate respect. Watch our language. We have children here. We are giving everybody respect, and we expect the same back, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize, Mr. Ramos. Please go ahead.
Well, again, everybody says that not myself. I like animals, horses, but they're not an appropriate area on our community. I love these animals, but unfortunately, on September the 18th, last month, another accident happened. A rider with his horse was thrown down right across Lucas and Rose Avenue. I was witness of it, lots of people of it. What happened? The driver just took off in a split of a second. That poor animal died, and the rider was taken to the hospital. Unfortunately, the police didn't come on time. I say almost 30 minutes later. We need more police units on our community. We need a station that knows that when we dial 911, they'll be there on time, not 15, 20 minutes later. We need protection. So again, I'm in support of this industrial Howard that I know and you guys know improvement is coming and it will happen and it's going to happen. Well, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have Delshawn McClellan, Alma Schwartz, and then Adrian Gutierrez, please.
How you doing? My name is Delshawn McClellan. I live about 5 miles away from here, and I'm also a carpenter, as my constituent said. I would love the fact to work way closer to home for the simple fact that, you know, we coach our kids. We want to come home. So projects like this with this developer, with just the notion of just bringing a project like this to the area, it brings community wealth. It brings families closer together where all the tradesmen, the laborers, like you said, the iron workers, we can come home to our families. I approve of this project and I hope you guys do too. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Alma Schwartz, Adrian Gutierrez, and Patricia Gutierrez.
Thank you very much. My name is Alma Schwartz, and I'm here. My first home I did buy in Bloomington, and you know, I'm a local realtor, and I've been in this project for about 2 years now. And one thing I do really want to say is Mr. Tim Howard, I've had the privilege to meet with him, and for someone to, you know, judge his character and things, I think it's very wrong. He's, you know, proposed so many things. He's actually listened to the people when they've had objections, and he's actually proposed solutions to this. So you know, when I came into this, you know, I don't have a yay or nay, but I am for the project because I understand the negative. There's always good and bad in everything, and I really believe that there's way more good than bad. And I'm not here to mouth anybody, but when somebody, you know, tells you that we're being paid to stand here, we're not being paid. We have not been paid a dime for this. So it really, the integrity here of Mr. Howard is not fair. He's a very integral man, and I'm here to support this project, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Adrian Gutierrez, then Patricia Gutierrez, then Manuel Fuentes. You need to hear the names again. Adrian Gutierrez, then Patricia Gutierrez, then Manuel Fuentes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Adrian Gutierrez, and I've been living here in Bloomington for over 16 years. When I first moved in, the traffic on Slover, right, all over this area, there was only like one lane street. So traffic was pretty bad because everybody talks about traffic and all this stuff. But traffic back then was tough. Me coming back from work, I was having to be like, just to get to the stop sign, I was like 15, 20 minutes just to get there because the traffic was bad. There has been 3 warehouses built north of my house, and they're like, this is like 200 feet away. And traffic now, since they improved the streets, are so much better. I don't have to wait 20 minutes to get to my light. 'Cause now it's a light sign light, not a stop sign. So traffic has improved. Same thing with the high school traffic. Is so much better now that the streets are being built and are fixed. And then also there's sidewalks now. Before there was no sidewalks, and I saw that for many, many years. Also, people talks about traffic. Most of these truckers that are in and out Bloomington are not even going towards the warehouses. They're going towards the backyards, since we have these big lots in our lot, and we're not getting any use. So what are they being used? As a parking space for truckers. Truckers that are being serviced, washed, are not regulated. Those are the truckers going on the wrong streets or on the streets that they shouldn't be driving, but they're driving through those streets to get to those lots where they rent the space so they can park their trucks and get service and all that stuff. Not the trucks that are going towards the buildings. So I'm in favor of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Patricia, if I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, Gutierrez, Manuel Fuentes, then Alex Espinosa.
Good evening. My name is Patricia Gutierrez, a resident of Bloomington for 15 years. I have 3 children that attend Colton Joint Unified Schools, Bloomington High School, Joe Baca Middle School, and Ruth Grimes. I live next to a warehouse, so I can tell you firsthand what it is to live by a warehouse. My husband is the one that spoke before me. We are not selling, for the record. We are not selling. We plan to live in Bloomington for as long as God allows us to. We actually have enjoyed having that warehouse. Before that, it was an empty piece of land where the Slover Distribution Center was built. I began in opposition. I attended meetings and sat on the side of the opposition until I started, my husband was against from the beginning. And that empty land, we would have, my neighbor that lives right directly besides to that, her home was broken into 3 times. Students from the high school would ditch and would go behind a tree there. There was fights in that area. Now we don't worry about any of that. It actually helped us with the wind. So yes, we did. Our complaint from neighbors was that we weren't going to have the views of the mountains anymore. But I believe the benefits we got offset that. Like my husband said, before the high school traffic was terrible, we had a stop sign versus a light. It used to take us forever to get out of the street. Now there's sidewalks along Slover. Someone else mentioned Santa Ana, when children are walking home, it's terrible, it's dangerous. This warehouse will bring the sidewalks that those students need. Another thing, you talk about the trucks that are in our community. We already have them. If you look behind my backyard, there's one property owner that has at least 25 trucks in there. It's not regulated. They're fixing them at all, at night. I could hear them coming through, and they provide absolutely nothing for our community. Howard Industrial Partners, I know him personally. I know he provides for our community. He's met with friends of mine that live in the community. He's giving them a fair price for their property. My children are all part of Bloomington Little League. We've seen benefits to the league. I don't know if this has to do with also Joe Baca also contributing now more to the league. There's a lot going on, and I only see positives. I know that we're not all going to be pleased, and there's always going to be two sides of it. I hope we can all work together. If you're in opposition, have you spoken to Howard Industrial about what your
Time.
concerns are?
Next, we have
Thank you.
Manuel Fuentes. Manuel Fuentes, Alex Espinosa, then Liliana Garcia.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Manuel Fuentes. I've been a part of the Bloomington community since 1979. My dad built our property there. My family's been there for quite a long time. I went to Zimmerman. I went to Bloomington Junior High School here. I went to Bloomington High School. And when we started here, growing up here, down Slover, there were grape vineyards from the 10 freeway going all up Sierra, well, south. Into the hills. And we've seen a lot of change here, and the change hasn't been good. You know, a lot of people are in opposition of this project, but we already have a lot of truck traffic here. We have a lot of, as other people have said, trucks being parked on properties. People are generating revenue for themselves off of that, but it's not generating tax revenue for the city. Bloomington does not benefit from that. In fact, it negatively impacts Bloomington. Locust is terribly impacted by traffic, trash, people illegally dumping. I think a project like this will benefit that area by providing clean streets, cleaner areas over there. You know, it's something that I think would benefit the community in terms of generating tax revenue. And like everyone else has said that is in support of this, it'll help with bringing the sheriff's department, having an actual station there in our community where we're not going to have long-term waiting time for 911 to come out. You know, so just, you know, as you can tell, I'm in support of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Alex Espinosa, Liliana Garcia, then Juan Carrera, I believe.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alex Espinoza. I'm speaking on behalf of my family. We're California Indians, and we lived in Bloomington specifically since the 1940s. And before that, obviously, we can go deeper into history, but we don't need to do that today. I just want to come up here and say that we're completely for this industrial project. Bloomington has become it's no longer a safe area. If you look, you can talk about all the illegal activities that go on. We can go down. If you go down Locust down towards Armstrong Road, there's a lot of open fields down that way. There was a proposed golf course, you know, years ago, if anybody remembers that. Thank you. Anyways, over there, you know, there's a lot of illegal off-roading, and I understand. I drive a Jeep myself. I love to off-road too, but it's illegal. That's private property, and the county tries to put up fencing for that. And what happens to the fencing? Has anybody ever seen it? It either gets ran over, taken down, or stolen, right? And that's obviously illegal. We can talk about the people prior to me. They spoke about the illegal trucking in the back of people's houses and stuff across Bloomington. That's obviously illegal. But with this new project, this is going to generate tax dollars and revenue and everything for the community, and which is something that those aren't going to do. But this is going to take up the property that a lot of these trucks, industrial areas are being fixed and like they said, washed and all the other things. I don't really know what goes on, obviously, but it's illegal, and the county's not benefiting from it. My final point that I'd like to make is that we're in the middle of a pandemic still, and newsflash, it's not going away anytime soon. But it's hard to get a job right now, and this is going to create a lot of jobs for the community as far as the construction workers and the union, and it's going to create jobs for people in the long run, like they mentioned earlier, the benefits for the health benefits and the productive wages that people are going to sustain. So definitely, I just want to reiterate that we are completely for this project. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Liliana Garcia, Juan Carrera, then Lisa Stafford.
Hi, I'm Liliana Garcia. My family and I have lived here in Bloomington for more than 20 years, And as a Bloomington resident and speaker for my family and friends who live here too, we want to say that Bloomington isn't for sale. I'm not really great with public speaking, but I feel very passionate because I live here and I believe that we don't deserve these warehouses here anymore. I just don't understand how you guys don't see the consequences that we are facing as a community. Ever since these warehouses started coming into our community, we've all witnessed like prolonged effects. We literally have the worst air quality in the entire country because of these warehouses that you guys keep allowing to be built on our land. Do you guys not realize how bad that is? This is a form of environmental injustice and racism. The air quality is causing many residents to get asthma, cancer, and other health problems. This new Bloomington Business Park that you guys want to build is unacceptable. Not only are you guys going to displace families that have lived here for a long time just for money, but you guys are also building it next to Rutho, the middle school, and Bloomington High School. Imagine all that air pollution that is going to affect those students and the residents that live around. You guys don't even understand the negative impacts that this so-called business park will have on us. We already have problems with traffic. It'll be worse with this business park. Everywhere I go, I see trucks literally everywhere. The Cedar Bridge is so congested of traffic because of these trucks. And you guys say that it'll bring jobs, but it'll bring jobs to people who don't even live here in Bloomington. So they'll be bringing even more traffic. It just wouldn't be nice that instead of these warehouses you guys plan to wouldn't it be nice that instead of these warehouses you guys plan to fix the Cedar Bridge? That's something that us Bloomington residents would definitely approve of. Bloomington isn't for sale, our lives aren't for sale, and we demand for you guys to stop using our land for your own greed.
Thank you. So just so you know, we're halfway through. Just want to let everybody know we are halfway through. So we have about 22 more public comments. So next we have Juan Carrera, Lisa Stanford, and then David Espinosa. So let's be ready, one right after the other, please. Thank you. Do we have Juan Carrera here? Okay, next we have Lisa Stafford. After Lisa would be David Espinosa.
Hi, my name's Lisa Stafford, and I'm totally against this, so I'm going to put that out there. But I know that you have these cute little pictures here. I really don't understand it. Like, if you're in the blue section and you don't want to sell, I don't even know who the man was that was speaking because we were stuck outside. What about if you don't want to sell? You're just going to take them? What are you going to do with these houses? What about if you're across the street? We're going to have a big wall in front of us? What about if I don't want to be your neighbor? What are you going to compensate the houses across the street that are going to go down in value because of your wall? I'm not understanding. And just to let you know, these trucks, I literally work on the other side, right past CFL. These trucks, if they get a green light and come down that hill, there are so many accidents, 24th all the way down. I have them on video. These things, it's everywhere. There are accidents everywhere. There are so many trucks out there. And you're going to put more trucks out there? There's going to be more accidents. People are killed every day on Rubida from trucks. I just don't get it. I don't understand why you want to put more parks out there and take away the land and the people that have all the land with the animals. And it's like, instead of looking at a llama, I get to look at a wall. Yeah, there are. Yes, there are. Yeah, there is. But anyways, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next Next, we have David Espinosa, then Lisbeth Abel, and Joaquin Los Diegos. I apologize for mispronunciation of the names, but David Espinosa.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Espinosa. Just to give you a little sense of where I'm at, this gentleman right here was my driver's training instructor when I was in high school. And that gentleman right there with the same last name as me was a student where I worked at Zimmerman. I've lived in this community. I've worked in this community. I've lived in this community all my life, except for the past 4 years when I recently moved. So I was a community since 1972. My parents are still here. I still have family in the community. I still work here. I'm a union member too. I belong to CSCA, so I feel you guys about jobs. Right now, there are good paying jobs here. They're provided by Colton Joint Unified School District. Those jobs are here because there's students in seats. These are good paying jobs too. They're long-term. I've been working for the school district for 31 years. There's a lot of things I don't understand here. They talk about upzone, rezoning areas for housing. They're talking about taking an area that's already zoned for housing, rezoning it for light industrial, taking another area and rezoning that for housing. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. Why not build the business park there instead of tearing down existing houses? I got no problem with jobs. Man, I'm with you guys. It's good to have work, right? But these jobs, building warehouses here in the community, they're not long-term, because at some point, there's not going to be anything left to build here, and I'm not taking anything away from you guys, man. I've heard people talk about illegal trucks, illegal truck yards. This project's not going to do away with those. This project's going to add more trucks to the community. The gentleman here talked about Cedar, easy access. Man, that blew me away when he said that. I literally was leaving here the other day. This is one of the sites that I work at that I support because I'm of service to this community. I was leaving here the other day. I saw a big truck jump into the intersection, block the intersection, and then when a truck tried to go, or a regular sized vehicle tried to go around him on the right, dude jumped over to block him, to keep him from getting into the turning lane so that he could get on the freeway. That was, to me, I'm just like, so we're going to bring more of that to the community. I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense. And it was intentional. It wasn't like it was an accident. It was intentional. I had so much more to say, but man, this looks beautiful right here. This little project right here, it looks beautiful. It really does. But you know what? You could polish a turd and make it look good, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be a turd.
Next, thank you. Next, we have Lisbeth Abelin, and then Joaquin Los Diegos, Gabriella Mendes.
Hello, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Lisbeth Ablin. I've been a resident here for 15 years now. I've been to this middle school, to the high school, Bloomington High School, and I'm really proud to be from here. Recently, it's been really frustrating by the fact that warehouses are coming in, developers and corporate is taking over Bloomington. That used to be a nice open space in rural area for families to live and have a good rural ranch life, because we want that. And also it's disappointing to hear that they're telling Bloomington residents to settle for crumbs, to settle for a sidewalk because of this warehouse, when we could be getting sidewalks by the county. And I know you all don't have any power, so we will be going to the county to make sure that they hear us, because and I know Miss Mam over here in the green and other folks were, how are we going to pay for the sidewalks where the state has a lot of funding? There's private funders that give us grants for sidewalks. Recently, in April of 2021, our majority leader, Assemblymember Eloise Reyes, that represents this district, worked with Moscow to provide the children and the high school students with sidewalks. And they got $1.8 million from the state with the active transportation program. And guess what? The county matched that same 1.8 million. So do we have money? Yes, we do. The state has money, and we all here that are opposing this, we will make sure that sidewalks are being built here. We don't need developers. We don't need their money. We are not for sale, and we will not continue to settle for crumbs. It is disgusting. It is disgusting that we're being seen as less than humans, because honestly, long term, this pollution is going to affect all of our families, and we won't even be here to enjoy this. So all I have to say is that we're against this, and listen to the actual residents. Listen, my dad's a truck driver. I know what that is, but he's also against this for the same reasons. He has asthma, and the pollution has affected him a lot. So all I got to say is that we don't need your money, and we're not for sale.
We have Joaquin Lastigos, Gabriella Mendes, and Leopoldo Ayala.
Hello, my name is Joaquin Castillejos. I've been a resident in Bloomington for 15 years. That was my sister who just talked. And, I went to all these schools too. I went to Zimmerman, Bloomington, and Ruto Harris. And now I'm now seeing that there's going to be a warehouse or being proposed right next to my school. It just makes me really sad and disappointed. I see that there's a teacher here that even advocates for that. I don't know how you can advocate for a project that will be a danger to your students or the students that you used to have. As teachers, I feel like we should have higher goals for our students. We're leaving these warehouses right in their faces so we could tell them, look, this is where you're going to end up, but this is not what we deserve. We deserve better jobs. Supposedly, these are high-paying jobs, but the cost of living is going up every year. This is not going to be enough in a few years. And in a few years, this warehouse is not even going to, what kind of these benefits that they're going to give, all this money that they're proposing is so long-term. Who's going to keep them accountable? How are we going to know when they're going to give us the money? We don't know anything of that. They're just proposing. There's just word of mouth. And I think that Bloomington deserves more. Other people who want better jobs, they're going to be leaving this area. But I think Bloomington is a beautiful area, and people should be staying, and we could have better jobs for our people. We could be having more community centers. We could have gardens, green spaces, something to benefit the community. And I feel like the MAC, you represent us. You've heard our voices today, and you should be with us in this fight against this warehouse. Go with us to the county. The next steps is going to the county. And in the county, we're all going to show up, and we're all going to be against the warehouses. And, I know you guys are volunteers, but, you're here for Bloomington, and Bloomington doesn't want these warehouses, especially right next to 3 schools, right in front of the park. We deserve more, and Bloomington is not for sale. Thank you.
Thank you, Joaquin. So our next speaker is Gabriella Mendes. I really want to be able to hear everybody, and a lot of the conversation from outside near the door, it's making its way in. So we want to be able to hear everyone's voice. Thank you. Gabriella?
Yes, hi. Good evening. I am Gabriella Mendes, a community organizer with the Center for Community Action and Environmental Justice. We have canvassed the proposed project site multiple times and are well informed on the community's response to this project. While residents within the perimeters of this project are stuck between selling or not selling due to the pressure of being pushed out, we are also highly concerned about the outskirts of this project and the homes where families live. We have also taken the time to speak to parents and families after school hours, and this community lives already in the 90th percentile of ozone and PM 2.5. We find it absurd that we still have to continue to fight for the basic human right to breathe clean air. Furthermore, the presentation spoke about traffic. While speaking to residents, they were not only concerned about health, but traffic congestion in this community. This project will only make it worse. I want to bring up a project that will be taking place in construction or start construction, expected to begin in the springtime of 2022 and expected to end in 2024. This is the expansion of the Cedar Bridge. So that means that bridge will be shut down for this amount of time while these trucks will be going where? Through the streets, which means this project will end up. So please tell me again, how is it going to be possible for anyone to cross anywhere? Nevertheless, in the case of a city emergency or any other emergency that they may need. Also, to the Bloomington residents who live near this proposed project, what guarantees you that you're not next, right? Where is the red light? If the area is residential, what is the purpose of putting a project there? Leave it alone, right? This is intentional development. This is environmental racism. And if this project gets approved, it will reconfirm that the air and the lives of the children of Bloomington is up for sale to a man named Howard and whatever other developer makes his unwelcome entrance in our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gabriella. We have Leopoldo Ayala, Janet Burnaby, and Jason Baez. For our translator, let's not start the time yet. For our translator, if you want to grab a microphone, that may be best.
Buenas noches, representantes de MAC del Condado de San Bernardino. Permítame presentarme. Mi nombre es Leopoldo Ayala. Tengo 65 años. Vivo aquí en Bloomington durante unos años. Por motivos de salud crónica, me vi en la necesidad de ser un vendedor ambulante.
Good evening, representatives of the MAC of the San Bernardino County. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Leopoldo Ayala. I am 65 years old and I live here in Bloomington for reasons about chronic health issues. And because of that necessity, I became a street vendor.
Y por no tener un permiso de vender, se me está haciendo un poco difícil vender mi mercancía. Vendo algo de desechable, champú, jabón, entre otras cosas. Por eso me tomé nuevamente el tiempo para estar aquí, alzando mi voz.
And because I don't have a permit to operate, it's become harder to sell my merchandise. I only sell cutlery, shampoo, soap, and other things. And that's why I'm here today, again, to raise my voice.
Y luchando por una oportunidad que ustedes como gobierno pudieran otorgar un permiso, y no solo para mí, sino para mis compañeros de grupo de vendedores de Bloomington.
And for that reason, I am working to see if you all can work with us to give us the opportunity as our local government to provide us with a permit, not just for me, but for all of my colleagues who are part of the Bloomington vendor group.
Creo que tenemos derecho a un trato justo y no debemos sufrir discriminación. Somos trabajadores ambulantes. Nosotros también estamos empujando a la economía, tanto de este estado de California como para todo el país.
And I believe that we should have the right, the right to fair treatment, and we shouldn't suffer discrimination. We are also workers. We're street vendors. We're also pushing the local economy, not just in the state, but also in the nation.
Si estamos aquí es porque también tenemos sueños en tener una vida mejor, pensando primero en nuestras familias y darles un futuro mejor. Por eso es que hemos iniciado esta lucha. Y que nuestras voces sean escuchadas.
And that's why we're here, right? Because we also have dreams to have a better life. We first thinking about our families,
very much.
and then thinking
Janet
about the
Burnaby
future.
next. We have Janet
When a
Burnaby
person
next.
speaks a different
Time is up.
language, shouldn't they have 6 minutes?
Time is up.
Yeah, so he's almost done.
Time is
6
up.
minutes for a Spanish when a
We have
person
Janet
is a
Burnaby
monolingual.
next.
6 minutes. That's
3 minutes is on
the,
the public comment form. If we need to close the meeting, we'll have to close the meeting, but right now, everybody's given everybody, regardless of your situation, 3 minutes.
when somebody is interpreted for, you are supposed to give them 6 minutes.
You know what? I don't have that information. So our field rep, where do we go next?
Is there anything written in the policy?
You know what, ma'am? I did not know of that information. I'm first to say that if I didn't know that. But what our field rep let us know, or actually deputy chief of staff, is that we can let you continue as the interpreter. interpreter, so that's fine. If you can
Okay.
go ahead and
So
finish.
I'm in the middle of a
Thank
sentence
you.
here.
Just wrap
Thank
it
you.
up.
So this is why we've started this work, this fight, so that our voices could be heard.
Punto número 2. Las bodegas no vienen a mejorar, vienen a seguir contaminando. Ellos nomás ven sus intereses y su beneficio. No les interesa la salud de todos los que vivimos aquí en Bloomington. Vienen a invadir nuestro territorio. No estoy de acuerdo en que hagan más bodegas. Mis vecinos de Bloomington ya se están enterando. No más bodegas y con esto.
Un momento. And so, again, these warehouses are not here to, they're only here to contaminate our communities, and they're only looking for their own benefit. They don't look at our health, the wealth and health of the folks that who live here in Bloomington. They're only here to invade our territories. I am not in favor of constructing more warehouses. The Bloomington community is learning about this, and they're also saying no. And with this, I finish.
No aceptará soborno, porque los regalos ciegan a los que veían y tuercen la sentencia del que era justo. No opriman a los extranjeros, pues ustedes saben lo que es ser extranjero. Lo fueron ustedes en la tierra de Egipto.
And in Exodus 23:8-9, no, we don't accept false gifts that only blind those that only blind and mix up the sentencing of those who are looking for justice. I'm losing my train of thought. Basically, you need to do the just and right thing. We cannot be doing this and mistreating the foreigner, just like you were the foreigners at one point in the land of Egypt. Sorry for the...
Les agradezco de antemano su atención a lo ya dicho, esperando el tiempo que sea conveniente para una solución a esta petición. Sé que Dios puso un buen corazón en ustedes, lleno de amor hacia el prójimo. No esperamos que nos den la puntilla. Gracias.
So I thank you in advance for the attention, for what I have said, and we hope that we've provided solutions, that if you heard our petitions, I hope, I know that God put a good heart in you all, with love to your neighbor, and we don't want to be sold out. Sorry, I'm not a professional translator, but that's why the county needs to hire somebody. Thank you.
Y que Dios bendiga a América y a todos ustedes también.
Thank you. We have Janet Burnaby next, Jason Baez, then Anna Gonzalez.
Hi, good evening. Yes, esteemed MAC members and Bloomington community members, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Janet Burnaby. I'm the organizing director for the Center for Community Action and Environmental Justice, CCAEJ. I'm here today to oppose this project, and I'm also here today to see the community coming together. But at the same time, they're divided. As we can see, there's a division between the communities because the developer wants to come in a community that already has homes. There is no logic when the presentation was going on about the up zone, additional 200 homes to the land. What does that mean to us? The up zone, because they want to minimize the land for community members and make more profit off of that. It's all about profit. Technically, this is about profit. I myself am a resident from the city of Parrot, and also seeing my community be demolished and being literally wiped out because of warehouses. When is this going to end? I have a 14-year-old, and I do not want her to live in an environment where there is only the opportunities of warehouses. This is not fair. We're fighting for our future. We're fighting for our children. We're fighting for our lungs. We're fighting for what we should have. This is the character of this community. What else do you need to tear? What else do you need from communities? You could place this next to Mr. Howard's home. Can we place it over there, please?
Let's do that. We can tear down his house and put a warehouse there. Why do you need to come to this community? You always tend to come to the communities of color. This is not fair. Time and time again, we tend to see our communities of color being put to the side, buying bite off by pennies, time and time again. And who is at the cost? Who pays for this? The community does, the community of color. Our children. You have teachers here coming up here talking about how wanting a better future for their students. What are we showing our students? What are we showing our children? That all the option that you have is to work at a warehouse? I am fortunate enough to be able to say that I work for a great place and organization. I want to say that one day my daughter will also have the privilege to be able to work in a place that she loves, a place that she doesn't have to be 18, 20, 12 hours a day with no benefits, low pay every day. This is not fair. There's something else that can be built on an empty lot. Why demolish 200 homes? Why don't we just build it next to Mr. Howard's home? We need to make this right. And it's really, really sad that we see a divide between the community. Community came out, but it's divided. For what? For this pretty looking picture that we have up here. Of course, it doesn't show the schools around it and how it's going to affect it. Thank you.
Time, thank you. We have Jason Baez, Ana Gonzalez, then Alejandra Gonzalez.
Thank you. My name is Jason Baez. I'm a member of Labor's International. And I want to say this, guys. Look, a lot of us don't understand how city finances are allocated. And in places where there's very little revenue, the city finances have to be spread so thin that all the wonderful ideas we have for the community, all the things that we need so desperately for the upgrades, they all get backed up and put on the back burner. And that's why the paint keeps chipping, the mosquito swarm keeps getting bigger, and the homeless situation keeps getting worse. Let me speak, please. $100 million they're going to give this community. My God, that amount of money is going to go right into our community.
It's Mr. Baez's turn to talk right now. Everybody gets their chance. Mr. Baez, go
10,000
ahead.
jobs are going to be given to us. 5,000 of those jobs are going to be union jobs, which are the last hand of justice for the working
Sir,
class.
address the MAC, please. Address the MAC, please.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. All right. 1,200 trees. That's going to double what we have. A yearly revenue that's going to give us the opportunity for rehabilitated pipes, for city programs. It's going to be a massive impact on this community for the better. Now, look, the young people that are here today, I commend them. I respect them, and I admire their passion. But the truth is, they don't understand all sides of this situation. Until you're an adult, and you have to pay bills, and you're threatened with being homeless or paying your bills, then you understand. When you're a father and you have daughters and you have to provide for them, if they have to go to school in rags and don't eat well, you don't know how that weighs on everybody in the household. We need this so very bad. We have a concern for our children. The few teachers that spoke up, it's because they see the hardships. And these children that don't have supervision, those are the ones who start using drugs and add to the homeless population. This is what happens. We're not looking at all sides of this. This is a blessing that could be for this community. It could help so many things. How could we run this guy out of here? He would take it to LA, but there's no room over there. That's why we need it here to help us. Community, wake up. Don't let this pass us by. It's just going to go right next door. And we're still going to have to deal with all this stuff. I'm sorry. I got a little passionate. It's because I love this community. I just want to see the best for us. All right? Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Ana Gonzalez is next, then Alejandra Gonzalez and Andre Marshall, and we are going to give them the same respect we've given everybody else. just like we needed to give the gentleman who just spoke. Regardless of your opinion, we are here to listen to everyone. I cannot stress that enough. And if there's other conversations going on during a presentation, during a comment, we can't hear it and we can't listen to what's going on. So we're respectfully requesting that comments made are from the board, from the podium only. Okay, you know what? There's not interaction between the assembly. It's public comment right now. We're giving everybody a chance to speak. Like I said before, if we need to close the meeting, we will, and then no one's voice will be heard. And we want to hear your voice. We want to hear everybody's opinion. We want to hear everybody's side of this. So let's please let the meeting continue. We have young people here who are here to listen and to learn what the community is all about and how we can respect each other and let each other speak and give everybody their own time. Thank you. Is this Anna Gonzalez?
Yes.
Thank you, Anna.
All right. Good evening, MAC board, community members. I hope we've shown what community looks like tonight. And I ditto everything that community members have said and spoken up about against the project, actually. We are creating more diesel death zones in this community. Right now, I had another meeting in Rialto Unified, and it took me literally 30 minutes to get across the Riverside Bridge just to get here because of the trucks. And we're going to see a 6,000% in truck traffic increase if these kind of developments continue to be approved in our communities. Again, bringing diesel dead zones to our community. My own son is developing asthma as we speak because of the impacts of the environment and the air that he's breathing on a daily basis. I am a community member of Rialto, so this project will sure as hell impact my son and my family and my community members as well as Bloomington. Bloomington has spoken up. I know some of the community that has sold their homes were essentially forced to sell their home because they were made to believe that this was good for the community and that they could take that money and find another piece of land like the one they have here, but they have seen a cruel reality that that's not the case. They will not find another property with the big land that they have now in Bloomington. Let's keep Bloomington rural. This is a rural community that needs more green spaces. And La Yuna, you can build other things. The opportunities are endless. You don't have to build warehouses. We can build more schools, more community centers, more stores, eateries. Again, the opportunities are endless. So please listen to the community. Continue to oppose this project. Oppose the diesel dead zones that are coming into our communities. Let's speak up. Don't give up. Hasta la victoria siempre. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Alejandra Gonzalez, please. After Alejandra Gonzalez is Andre Marshall, then Carlos Gonzalez.
Good evening. My name is Alejandra Gonzalez, and unlike Tim Howard, the union members, and those who are selling out, I am a proud resident of Bloomington, and I strongly oppose the Bloomington Business Park development. I do understand how municipal finances work. I myself am a city employee. For years, developers with no ties to our community have been allowed to build recklessly right next to our homes, parks, and schools with little or no oversight from local officials, and our community has had enough. The promise of jobs and new infrastructure at the cost of uprooting individuals, increased pollution, and erasing community ties is not justified. Individuals who support the project all seem to paint Bloomington in a negative light. Bloomington, like all communities, has its challenges, but those of us who live here are vested in our community and don't believe any residents need to be uprooted to make Bloomington better. If you need a warehouse development to be proud of your community, you need to reevaluate your priorities. For those of you who are here because your labor union requires it, I ask you, how do you sleep at night knowing that you are here to support a project that will result in over 200 families, working class families like yourselves, being ejected from their community? I ask you, will you tell your children the whole story? Will you say, look, mijo, I built that and it forced over 200 families out of their homes and increased pollution? Tim Howard claims development will with a community benefit agreement worth nearly 20 million. That includes fees to local schools, roads, gutters, and sidewalks. But this is little in comparison to the loss that will be experienced by the families and the 213 homes that will be demolished. My family purchased a home in Bloomington here because we have ties to the community. We value the animal keeping lifestyle, and we want to see our future generations continue to grow and prosper in Bloomington. My father also raised his family all with multiple graduate degrees, 2 teachers, public servants. Good families live here. And this development will end this not just for my family, but for many others who call Bloomington their home. And in doing so, will negatively impact our quality of life. As a Bloomington resident, I value, once again, I stress, we value the rural and family-oriented nature. And I want to continue to be part of this community. This project does not include a plan for those of us who want to continue to keep our animal lifestyle. Do you think we're going to be able to have a horse somewhere in here if we have to move to one of the proposed developments? Therefore, Joe Baca, where are you? You represent this community. Once again, nowhere in sight. And the MAC members, it's your responsibility to represent the interests of the community you serve and reject this project that is not rooted in the community's best public health, safety, and economic interests and will not improve the quality of life for Bloomington. And if you can't do that, then you need to step down. Put people over profit, because Bloomington is not for sale and Bloomington no se vende. Bloomington no se vende. Bloomington no se vende.
Thank you, Alejandra. Don't forget your sign, ma'am. Alejandra, you forgot your sign. Then you could take it and he could put it up if needed. Actually, that's not our property or the school district's property. It's not a holder for the community.
I'll take it back when I'm done.
Yeah.
All right.
You
So
can go ahead and take it, sir, and you could hold it. You could hold it up for us.
why can't I just leave it there?
It's not our property.
All right, whatever.
Thank you, sir.
I'll hold it.
We need to leave the chairs where they're at.
Can you put the chair back where it
Thank you. My name is Andre Marshall. I am a part. All right. My name is Andre Marshall. I am a part of the.
We need to
Bloomington community.
pause for a moment, please. Can someone take?
As
the
I was
sign?
saying, my
You're
name.
welcome to hold it up.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Andre Marshall. I'm a part of the Bloomington community, and I cannot support the Bloomington Business Park Plan. I'd like to think Bloomington is a tight-knit community comprised of individuals and families that hold similar values that are not in line with this project. So the idea of displacing people who have raised their family here for years and destroying homes in exchange for warehouses that are known to offer mediocre jobs and exploit their employees as well as pollute the environment is something that I just cannot get behind. And to everyone saying that this project will provide Bloomington with sidewalks and a sheriff's station, if we can't get these basic needs without building warehouses, then we have a bigger problem. That's it.
Thank you. That was Andre Marshall. Next, we have Carlos Gonzalez and then Maria Solis.
I don't need this for when I talk. Can I remove it?
I'm sorry?
I don't need this for when I talk. Can I remove it?
No, that's not our property. It needs to be left alone. That's part of the presentation. That's why we're here.
yeah, but the
They
presentation's over
presented
now.
and you're talking to us. Sir, this is public
Comment. This
comment.
doesn't serve me. If
You're-
the person
you're
who's using for the
addressing
presentation could
us.
remove it.
You're addressing us and I can't see it, so you're welcome to pick it up and hold it. You're addressing us. This is the MAC meeting. We're here to listen to you.
Okay.
And to hear what you have to say.
So there's been a lot of talk about jobs today, but what I want to know is how many of those jobs are guaranteed for Bloomington residents? How many of those jobs are managerial positions guaranteed for Bloomington residents? How many of those jobs guarantee a livable wage? None, because they can't do that, and they know they can't do that. There's been union representatives here today, and I want to ask them, why did you join a union? Because it gives a working class person a chance to fight for something, to fight for their community, to fight for their job, to provide for their family. What do you think we're here? We're working class people, okay? Those jobs in warehouses are not union jobs. Those jobs in warehouses do not provide medical benefits. Those jobs are not guaranteed. We're just like you. We're working class people. We need a chance. What is the point of union but solidarity? You need to be solid with us. You need to be supporting us. And to MAC, what are you guys here for if not for us? What are you guys here for if not to pay respect to us? Like the older gentleman who came up here to talk, who was treated like, I'm sorry, crap, and this man who is not from our community came up and was treated with such grace. This is not acceptable. And finally, Joe Baca has not been here for the past 3, 4, 5 meetings. Is he our representative or not? He's there for 3 more years, and we know exactly when the next election's coming up. So he needs to be prepared.
So that was Carlos Gonzalez. Next, we have Maria Solis, then Roxanne Bazo, then Carolina Verduzco. Okay, I'll put it to the side. Roxanne Bazo, please, then Carolina Verduzco, then Mari D.
You guys know you'll have to let me know. Thanks.
We'll let you know when you have 30 seconds on the clock since you can't see, if that's what you'd like.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
I am the 5th generation that has lived in Bloomington. I myself, I live in the 2nd oldest house in Bloomington. I have been attending MAC meetings since I was 3 years old. It is kind of ridiculous when you go to meetings and there's only like 20 people there. The other buildings that we've had built in Bloomington is a slap in our face. We were lied to, we were used, and we were abused. We still are being abused. To the pennies, to the multi-millions is all we are getting that we have to share with other unincorporated townships. We are not a city. We have tried 4 times in session to become a city. We don't have the funding, and we will never have the funding if we do not change the wording that has allowed the buildings to be built here. Over the last 10 years, Bloomington MAC and the ones who have attended the MAC meetings have learned the correct wording to allow 100% of the funding from any future buildings being built here in Bloomington. Mr. Howard has been an inland community resident for countless years. His parents contributed a lot into Inland Valley. This gentleman, which many of you have no idea, has contributed countless money over countless years, has helped your children. We have Colton Unified School District sitting over there who hasn't even told you of any of their current new plans. And you wonder why it's not on the map. There's reasons. We need this man more than anything if we are to get built anything. And that includes the entire township of Bloomington, 100%. We want to stop these half-acre lots being used by rigs. We need to go to the realtors. We need accountability from Mr. Baca.
Time. Thank you, Roxana. We have Carolina Verduzco, Mari D, then Gina, looks like Gina Durang.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carolina Verduzco. Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Carolina Verduzco. I know everybody's tired. We want to go home, but this is a very important subject to everyone here in Bloomington. And I know everybody's very passionate. Everybody has a different side. I'm here as a 32-year resident of Bloomington. I'm here for myself, for my daughter, for the community that has been left out of the conversation that is majorly Spanish speaking. Okay, because there has been little information given to the Spanish speaking community here in Bloomington. To Mr. Canipo, who was my driver's ed teacher when I attended BHS, I'm disappointed that he's for this project because he knows the dangers of young high school drivers that are just starting to drive with all the truck traffic. I'm going to address, I've sat here and listened to all these different comments, so I'm going to give little bits of my point of view. How many people have lived here 20 plus years, tax-paying residents? And we have seen no improvements in Bloomington. That money that goes to the general fund could be used to fund sidewalks. How many people here are sitting on septic tanks after 20, 30 years? We deserve better. I'm against the project. I don't think we need the project to have these basic services, okay? For the union members, I understand you're saying you want to get home to your families. I want to be able to cross the Cedar Bridge in less than 30 or 40 minutes so I could take my daughter to school. I'm not anti-union. I'm not anti-warehouse, Mr. Howard. But here in Bloomington, we're saying enough is enough. We don't need another warehouse. We don't. I mean, why is it in Fontana, in Colton, in Bloomington, all these projects are on this side of the freeway? That's not a coincidence. That's on purpose. We're letting you know, the people that live here, that we don't want this project here. We don't. The other people that spoke up, they have a right to speak, but we live here and we're saying respectfully, we don't want this project here. And I don't know how many meetings it's going to take or how many trees you can plant or how many things you can promise. But the people here, they don't want this project. What do we do with that? And more than anything, I'm here to support every resident that does not want to sell their house.
Thank you, Carolina. Next we have Madi D, Gina, I think it's Durang, I believe, and then Francisco Ramirez. So do we have Madi D? Okay. Gina Dure. Is there a Gina who wrote a public comment? Who can come up here? No, okay, I'm going to put it to the side for now. It's, okay.
No, it's in English.
Okay. After Gina, we have Francisco Ramirez and Ginger Ayet.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Oh, ma'am, we can't hear you. Can you get
okay.
closer and speak a little bit louder so we can hear you, please?
Okay. My name is Gina Dong. I have a vacant land on Cedar, and this is 2 acres. And first of all, thank you to give me an opportunity to speak. I am really support this project. I own this land, 2 acres on Cedar, and the counties only allow for me to build one house only for 2 acres. And you know what? I cannot build one house for 2 acres. What do I have to do with the whole thing vacant land in the back? So every single year I have to pay property tax. I have to.
Ma'am, address the MAC and speak into the microphone so we can hear you, please.
I have to do with a basement with the tractor and I have to hire somebody to take care of my land. I have to come there so often to check because homeless as a stay there, you know, no policeman tell him to leave. And sheriff have to call me and tell me have to tell him to leave. And you know what? I tell him he's homeless. He's not my tenant. So how I can tell him to leave? Where did he go? So you know what? You don't know how hard I work to keep a vacant land in Cedar in Bloomington. I own this for 15 years, and it's nothing built at all. On Cedar, you don't see any commercial, no supermarket. Nobody want to come here. No, nothing coming here. So my vacant land is still there. And it's just, I keep paying and I keep paying and I keep paying. The vacant land there is worth nothing. Okay, so like everybody say, okay, we need more home to live now. The kids are keep growing. They need more building. They need more house. Everybody, the population are grow. And like everything else, like any other city does, okay? We don't want to keep our community just like that. So we should look something better. We should, later on, when we tell our kids, okay, when we were star, it's nothing here. It's something like me, okay? So I just try to ask you just to do a map, okay? My vacant land, if I can build one house there, it's only one family, okay? To live there for 2
Thank you.
acres.
Thank you. We have Francisco Ramirez, Ginger, I don't know this last name. It starts with an E. Ayut, Maximilio Barajas.
Hello, my name is Francisco Ramirez, and I'm here to support everyone that is against this project here in my community. Honestly, I don't feel like we need another business here, another factory to be bothering our community. We have so many already with the traffic. All my family lives here, and honestly, it does take a while to cross the Cedar Bridge just to pick up my little brother from Jobaca Middle School at that peak hour. And I do not see this making a big difference in our community, and especially having so many already. I don't see like we need it. Honestly, if we could just receive some help for some sidewalks, I honestly do see that. I used to go to Bloomington High School, and on Santana, when the big rigs would pass by, I would get blasted by the dirt that it would be hitting me. And if you could honestly help us with some sidewalks, really make a difference, and we don't need this big corporation or this man here to bring all these buildings just to give us some sidewalks, some trees. We don't need all that, man. Come on. Thank you.
Thank you, Francisco. Okay, we have Ginger next. Just a reminder, I'm so sorry to have to say this again, but we can't hear the public comment if people are speaking loudly right outside the doors. We can't hear, and that's what we're here for, to hear what everybody has to say. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Ginger Elliott. I haven't seen y'all for a while because I was living in Las Vegas for 14 years, but I was born in Riverside Community Hospital, came home to Bloomington, and it was home for many, many years. I went to Walter Zimmerman, I went to Bloomington Junior High, and I went to Bloomington High School. My kids went to Zimmerman, they went to Ruth O. Harris, and they went to Bloomington High School. So my parents have been here since 1957. They still live here. They live on 7th Street where the traffic is horrendous. The speed limits are even worse. Even though it says 25, the speed limit is about 50 to 75 on 7th Street. I have big rigs coming down 9th Street. I have traffic on my street that is going about 50 to 75 mile an hour, sometimes even more than that in the middle of the night. Traffic is horrendous in Bloomington. It will take up to 45 minutes to get over the freeway at certain times of the day. coming from the south side. If y'all live on the north side, that doesn't happen so much. But coming from the south side, it does take up to 45 minutes to get over the freeway at times. I avoided, last night I thought was the MAC meeting over on the other side of the freeway, so I jammed up Linden. Okay, there are even big rigs on Linden right now that do not belong on Linden. We have a major problem with trucking traffic. You think they're going to go down Harupa? They aren't going to go down Harupa. They're going to pick whatever route's easiest for them to get to wherever they want to go to. I'll guarantee you it's a problem. See it time and time again. If I'm not mistaken, truckers are supposed to stay in the slow lane unless they're going to make a turn to the left. Then they can get over into the left lane to make their left-hand turn. But they block up traffic, both lanes going down Cedar or up Cedar all of the time. So if y'all live on the north side of the freeway, you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you live on the south side, you definitely know what I'm talking about. I'd like to give a shout out to the officers that are standing outside in the cool air and that are taking their time out of their day to come here and listen to this because they actually do like this community. So shout out to the cops, the guys in the suit, the construction shirts and that. They don't necessarily, how many of you guys live in Bloomington?
Remember, you're addressing the MAC, ma'am. You're addressing the MAC.
Okay, how many of these guys actually live in Bloomington? Yeah, they maybe have a contract to work in Bloomington, but they don't live in Bloomington. So how is this benefiting the Bloomington people? And like the other person said, how many people from Bloomington are actually going to get jobs at these warehouses? Trucking is an issue in Bloomington already, so I am opposed to it for that reason alone. Bring in a supermarket, bring in something else that generates money. Because these things, other things generate money. In all honesty, other things will generate money. But I've spoke my piece. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ginger. We have Maximilio Barajas and Ramon Acosta. I apologize, I got your last name wrong.
No, it's fine. It's Maximiliano Barajas. I'm here because I'm against this project as well. I live here in Fontana and Southridge, and my house is surrounded by warehouses. There's traffic every single day, and it's a problem because I have to take my mom to work, and I'm also a student in college. So it's a problem for me that I have to get to my classes with all of this traffic. Another thing is that I don't know if you guys are aware that people who are renting houses, who they're buying the houses off of, people who are renting aren't getting money, only the house owners. And how is that fair for people who are renting and paying to live there to not get any money and only the homeowner is getting money? I understand that they're a homeowner, but people who are paying rent are also paying money to live there. Another thing, all those warehouses that have been in my community have came promising better things for the community, and none of those things have happened. Nothing. All of these industries are just as big as liars as politicians, all of them. And why bring them all in instead of bringing another supermarket, a grocery store, a mall? Walmart's bringing billions of dollars of revenue a year. Why bring in a warehouse? A warehouse pays workers minimum wage, which isn't even a livable wage in California. It's not. You can't live in California off of minimum wage. And it's been proven. It's been a study that's been proven that you can't live here off of minimum wage, which is what this man is going to be paying all of his workers at this warehouse, because that's what warehouses pay their workers. In a few years, all of these warehouse workers are going to be automated. This man, Elon Musk, develops things every day, and robots are coming into those warehouses every single day. Everybody who works in a warehouse, every job is replaceable. You can get fired one day and somebody will come and take your job the very next day and they won't care about you. That's all I have to say. All of these corporations are all full of bullshit. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ramon Acosta.
My name is Ramon Acosta. I'm a union iron worker. I've been a proud member of Local 416 for 4 years. But above that, I'm a proud member of Bloomington. And I've been that for 32 years, and I'm going to be for many more. As much as I would love to live, work close to home, I would love much more to take my daughter on days off to the park without a bunch of 18-wheelers and diesels driving by me. This project is promising sidewalks, streetlights, and all this other stuff. but you guys are also displacing hundreds of families by doing this. It's not going to help anybody. Yeah, this is just displacing a gang of families, man. You guys are not helping us. You guys are doing worse. 2 years after ground breaks on these projects and the unions are gone, it's going to be a bunch of warehouses, and those warehouses are going to be paying $15 an hour. Can you buy a house at $15 an hour? No. I could buy a house right now because I'm a union worker, and that's why I could do it. Not because of the warehouse, but because I'm a union worker. This is not going to do none of that. And these warehouses are going to do minimum wage, and that's it. And after, like they said, they'll get rid of you and hire somebody real quick. This is not doing none of that. Gentrification of any kind is genocide. Keep Bloomington blooming.
Thank you, Mr. Acosta. Okay. One last call for the public comment cards that we have. Mari D, Maria Solis, or Juan Carrera. Okay, public comment is closed. Thank you all very much. Next we have on the agenda is old business. Yeah. You know what, guys? We appreciate every single one of you who came out to speak. We heard voices from both sides, and this is what we're all about. We're here to listen to you guys, and we appreciate that. Now, this meeting is going to continue. We'd like it to continue. It's almost over. It's late. We're all tired. We all have work. We all have families, but we would like to finish the meeting, and we can do that if we have the respect from everybody else here, just like we've given you that respect in that time. So right now, we're going to go to old business. Do we have any old business? No old business. Okay. New business. Actually, we're not going to speak about new business, but we were going to put this on the next agenda. We want to make you aware that we are going to have the David Weiner Scott Beard truck terminal project at our next meeting. So that'll be on the next agenda. And David Molinarski, the ASG project, will be on our next agenda as well, and that will be in November. After that, do we have any community events? I believe we have a couple things going on. Do we have no event? Okay, that's okay.
Do you want to share this? Do you want to show me the flyer tomorrow? I'll just share with us. Oh, yeah.
We have one community event we want to let you guys know about. You're invited Halloween night, October 31st from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's hosted by the Olive Branch. Come on out on the 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. for a safe and fun Halloween night with your family. So there'll be flyers available if you'd like to see them. So next we have our MAC member reports. If you'd like to give a MAC member report or a discussion or comment on anything, I'll just start from the bottom up. If you don't have a comment, that's okay. Teresa, do you have anything to ask, talk, share? It's your turn now if you'd like. You have the podium. You have the podium.
I just want to thank everybody that came out tonight, and I hope that this will encourage you to come out to future meetings. I hope that we don't have a lower attendance in the future, because everything that happens in Bloomington is equally important to the project that was discussed tonight. And I would really like to see the numbers and the faces out there and a regular participation, not just on certain topics, but I do appreciate everybody that came out and spoke tonight. And, it doesn't fall on deaf ears, okay? We do really take what you guys say seriously. Sometimes we may not always be in agreement, but that doesn't mean that we don't listen to you, that we don't take into consideration the things that you've said. So, there are a lot of things that, you do give us to think about, but I just ask that in the future that when we have these presentations, that everybody treats everybody that goes to the podium with respect, regardless of what their position is on a project or anything that we are discussing. It would just be something that, we ask you because we would like the same in return. We come here, we are volunteers, and, we spend a lot of our time doing things in the community here for our community because we love our community. So please just remember that in the future, and please continue to come out to the meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Stephanie Santoyo.
Just thank you so much for everybody coming out. I can't follow such a wonderful speech, but thank you. And I hope to see you guys again next month.
Angela.
Just want to thank everyone for coming out, and we hope to see you again in future meetings.
I think I've spoken enough. I just want to tell you, I seriously mean it from the bottom of my heart that I thank every single one of you who came here and who took the courage to stand up there on that podium and share your point of view, your opinion, and what you firmly believe in. Thank you so much. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Angela's motioning and Stephanie's second. Meeting is adjourned at 9:26. Thank you.
I do have some snacks over here too. Already been passed out.
Give me them out, man. No, give them to the iron worker.
It's like both sides. Look. It's both sides.
Oh.
So this one doesn't turn off.